All right. Game time, guys. All right. So this thing works. No, let's do it like this. Boop. Okay. So let's do a quick recap on what happened last time, because I know it's been a busy week and forgetfulness happens. We'll do a quick recap on what happened last time. We'll introduce our character. Or actually, let's introduce our characters first, because we have a new character. And we'll recap what happened last time, then we'll start getting the party started here. So, I still can't pronounce your name.
It's Zuka.
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 Zuka. Zuka Mama. Zuka Tits. I'm just kidding. Wow. We're really going that direction. Okay. No. Okay. No play on words. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, so I'm Zuka. I'm from a noble family, in love with a goblin. Family enemies to mine, so I left inside the casino.
Okay.
With
that gentleman. Twitchley.
What's here?
Twitch.
And I'm an orc.
I'm going to start retaking my notes in notepads. They're actually not, they don't lose. Yeah, this paper and pen is just, I've realized it's not my game anymore, even though I'm a writer. Cool. Okay. So, Pickle Rick. Tell us about yourself.
Pickle Rick. So I'm a Dragonborn Ranger. I have some cool lightning breath type stuff that I can do. Keep it that. I'm a sage. I forget which aspect of my being that is called. That's like
just
my
sage.
personality or like, okay.
So they
Sage,
remove
whatever.
It's very wise. You could even be a sage scientist. So you're a sage in the arts of science. As Pickle Rick. We'll let that slide. Food for thought.
Okay, and my relationship to everyone else. I think the only person I know is him.
And me.
Yeah.
And you, because shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like at his request. I like to read a lot. My one true goal is to read all of the books.
You stole my books.
Yeah, she stole the books.
And she made me have an odd number of books, and I just can't say them.
And so we only stole one. Stolen two.
Yeah, fine.
I believe last time we were both hiding behind the same door and I
You did, yeah.
So
Made by it, yeah.
clearly, yeah. Alright. Okay, that's new character.
Yes, my character's name is Wesley. I just said he has the same first and last name. He's also
Wesley.
Wesley is a sage cleric, so also a sage, but who has absolutely zero respect for any of the academic accomplishments of whatever your character's name.
You just like you're reading books.
And although we've never met, he's very
They must have a lot of pictures.
professionally familiar with all of your works and things like that.
Ooh, wow.
Yes, half elf, healer, very good at healing, very good at medicine, eats food. General.
Being forgotten.
Who are you again?
What?
No.
Alright. And my character is Feather Widget, Perky Nips. She is a half-orc barbarian. On the delicate side, she doesn't really believe she's as a folk hero, she does not like police a lot. She found out that I
It pissed her off.
She wanted to rage and defeated it, and became a folk hero. Now she feels like it's her life's goal her destiny to live up to that. But she still does not like violence and feels very guilty, but she also has a quick temper and ends up in violence, destroying things quite often.
Fair enough.
Oh, and point of people. The other half-orc barbarian, I do not like because he takes too easily to violence. He seems to embrace it too much. And Kiwa over there has taken a liking to me as her mentor, but I don't really know what she is. I think she's like an animal of some sort.
An animal.
I do not really know what they are. I believe they are a pet of some sort. But I like to pet.
Really an pet. A pet that you like to pet. So a cat. All right. Twitch.
Character named Switch. He is a female. He is known around the city as just the accountant. He runs books for all the high-stakes gambling rings that the nobles of the city don't like to let other people know that they're a part of. He has a fair number of connections in the seedy underbelly that facilitates said gambling. He's been known to be the proprietor of many a gambling hall. He has his own personal defense assistant in Zuga. He is very averse to odd numbers and tries to keep everything in even numbers whenever possible. And one of the main reasons he dislikes Picklerig is because Picklerig stole one of his books, giving him an odd number library, and he has yet to read it.
Okay. And then...
My name is Kima Hellerheim.
Hello.
The pronouns that my character likes to use are they and them. Not really any mystery there. That's just what I decided was going to be that character preference. They are a halfling wizard, and their whole deal is that they're an awkward type person who puts their foot in their mouth a lot. Not a lot. And their dream is to be just the world's biggest jock.
Biggest jock.
Yeah.
That's why they're hanging out with me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So then, Feather Widget over there, I saw her and I was like, she's so big and so strong. This can be my personal trainer. So I just started following her around.
I'm pretty sure that they're some sort of animal.
I'm going to need some more of this.
I'm quite fond of them.
That's amazing. Thank you.
I will protect Kiwa to the death. Thank you. No matter what they say.
I'm going to need more of this.
Yeah. This is a rowdy bunch. It's good. Okay, so a recap on what's happened so far. So you all entered the Desserin Valley, and you went to the particular town in the Desserin Valley called Red Larch. So while you were all there for a gambling convention, that which you were invited to, each of you, due to your various acquaintances with each other, sad or happy as they were, met each other there at this gambling event. It is not, you noticed on your way in that there seemed to be some other bigger, like the gambling event is a little bit under the radar. So you noticed that there was some bigger event going on. They had this kind of welcome banner that said, welcome delegates and stuff like that. But, that you kind of assumed that wasn't for this really shitty gambling event, which took place in this small inn. And Twitchley knew the innkeeper quite well. She goes by the name of Kalissa Urkel. And she's the proprietor of the inn. So she, as you entered, you saw things seemed to be amiss. People were acting strangely. So after talking with Kalissa a little bit, she actually, I don't think you all were successful getting good information out of her in terms of what was going on. But you wandered around and you saw a set of quarry workers coming back from the quarry looking pretty freaked out, and they led you to believe that there was something wrong with the quarry. So you went in there and you saw a tunnel going in. You kind of went through one of the quarry's tunnels that opened into what looked like a massive crypt. There in the crypt, you guys fought some evil monsters. A gnome and then a spirit that seemed to have some sort of connection with this beautifully drawn symbol.
It's a bat, though.
But someone with enough knowledge would be able to maybe put together what that symbol means. I don't know if you guys succeeded that.
All of us failed.
Oh wait, I'm just arriving, so can I roll for it?
You can only do it if you make fun of her for not being able to figure it out.
No, I think he was neat who found out that it had something to do with fire.
Yes, that is right.
Maybe something about it.
Okay, so then you are right. So it does have something to do with fire. I don't know if you knew enough to get a really detailed view on what that meant, but yes. It's okay. So you learned that it has something to do with fire. The specter that kind of was at the end of the tomb and like the crypt seemed to be able to channel sort of this mystical bluish flame. And after conquering him and some of his defenses, you, I think, found a fire resistance potion. But now you all kind of headed back to town, seeing that and as you guys go back to town, it was very late. Before your long rest, you didn't really see much of the impact that your work had on the town. So you all are in the inn, I think, because you had to deal with Calissa to get some pretty cheap tickets. There's some gambling going downstairs. So you all wake up the next day fully refreshed, fully healed, with your new friend that came in for gambling, or to try to proselytize to the gamblers and tell them the sins of their ways. Yes. So you see him in the gambling hall, proselytizing the gamblers. As you get down there, the tables are still pretty empty, and actually it looks a little bit quieter than it was the day before. So some of the people who, though they were casting some, looks over their shoulders, those people are not even there. There's only like a few what looks like almost presenters, people that look like they just came from out of town just for this event, and they're looking around wondering somewhat where everyone is. Calissa sits at the bar. She's serving the presenters. She still is putting on a great face. She's got the attitude of someone who's just trying to make this thing work. And she's going from table to table, talking to all these people from out of town. And she looks like a little harried, but there's just not that many people, so she's not that harried. And kind of there's just a quiet buzz as people are clinking glasses at a couple of the small cards tables set up in kind of the open area.
Looking outside the window. Sorry.
You have some ale? Okay, so you wave down Calissa and you say, "Hey, can I grab an ear?" And she's like, "Yeah." I forget what was her accent. Shoot.
She was Bridge Lady.
Bridge Lady.
She was Bridge Troll.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So like corrupted evil Jersey accent. Oh yeah, honey. How you doing?
I'm alright. We defeated some monsters last night.
Well, isn't that nice for you? And she pours herself a glass of beer. She hands you the beer, and she just kind of, there's not that much traffic going on, so she just kind of, puts her elbow on the bar and just hangs out.
I'll still talk to her. I do remember it being quite a lot busier last time. Where is everyone this time?
I don't know. There's something going wrong with the delegates coming into town this week.
I mean, I dare say gambling hasn't gotten any less popular since last year.
It may have because of my efforts.
It may very well be because
Yeah.
of this one. I don't know.
I will say, Buzz Killington over here hasn't been helping us very much.
That is a good question. What are you doing here?
My name is Wexley. I've come to
I'm
educate.
sorry, I think you said that twice.
I did say it twice because I'm twice as smart as you.
Yes.
That's
true.
true.
Can I,
Oh yeah, so you get a fate point for using an accent.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't even trying.
Yeah, there you go. That's like the default fate point.
So can I insight check him to see if he's twice as smart as I am?
Go ahead, roll. Well,
Should we roll against each other for this?
I'm trying to think what it would be. I need to grab a character sheet here so I can know what the different things to roll against are. Because it would be insight versus.
Like, would it be just straight up intelligence?
Yeah, intelligence.
Because he's saying he's smarter than I am.
True.
It would be intelligence versus intelligence.
Oh.
Yeah.
Intelligence?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that rolls.
So do I use my modifier for this?
Yeah, so
What is that website you guys use?
D&D Beyond.
DNDBeyond.com. Yeah.
11.
8 plus 2 is a 10.
So now it's official that he's just a little bit smarter than you, but you haven't found out yet. So you have to roll for. Now you have to roll deception, and he has to roll insight.
13.
11.
Oh!
So I am a little bit smarter, but he's better. But I don't know that
You're sizing each other up. You haven't.
Yeah.
You've seen a rival of similar intelligence, but you haven't really, come above and beyond just yet.
Look, guess what?
What was that?
We're part of 6 people now.
I do something smarter than that when I woke up this morning. Just get me off to agree this is better.
This is just.
No, shit. There's 2 people.
Don't things just feel.
Was it just 2 people?
No, the day's not a mystery. It's just what the pronouns are. It's not mean anything.
But we don't know that.
It's just.
But if you're a wizard who prefers day, for all we know, you have like schizophrenia of some sort. We have no idea.
Wizards are fell and mysterious.
Well, I
Okay.
call Kima over to me and
Okay.
I just want to pet her. I just ask her to stand next to me so I can pet her.
You can comply or resist.
It depends whether she calls me a her or not while she's doing it.
That wasn't in character, so. Kima! Kima! Okay, please. I'd like to pet you.
I want to roll for something. I'm probably like cool with it. Can I roll to see if I'm okay with it?
Yeah, you're okay with it. if you're pretty sure you're okay with it. Okay, so you go over and get some pets. You see a kind of commotion started happening at the front of the bar. Kalissa kind of is looking over. She wanders away from talking to you. Goes, talks to a few folks at the door. And then looks outside and then leaves the bar. Yeah, she has assistants there to make sure that no one's going to start.
So no one's caught me at the bar.
Yeah, pulling his kegs. Yeah.
I hope you have the bar for me.
Yeah, so
Start
then-
looking.
So you're going to actually do that?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm
What
gonna
should
walk
I
towards.
roll?
Are you trying to be stealthy about it?
Or are you being very brazen about it?
Yeah, I'm just kind of going for it.
Okay, so you go for
I
it.
do a backflip over the.
So one of
I
the
do a backflip over the bar.
That sounds like kind of nice.
one of the assistants, his name is Helver. Go ahead and roll acrobatics.
Nope, 5. With a modifier.
Okay, so Helver's hand just snaps out and grabs yours as you're reaching for the keg. He looks to you and he says, "That will be 20 gold pieces related." He's like, "The price of beer is 2 coppers. The price of stealing is much greater."
I didn't successfully steal anything. I don't see how much gold I have.
That's gonna have to be a.
No. I thought we got some kind of money left.
So is that all the gold that she has?
So
you guys sold your relics.
So we sold our relics. We had one that was worth 100 and 3 that were worth 25.
How much is 35 down?
So yeah.
Depending on your background, you started. So.
Yeah, I can go back and double check what the actual take was on that.
Yes, I have 25 gold right
Yeah,
now. I have enough.
So
I have 25 gold.
he looks at you. He looks at you expectantly. What are you gonna do?
I start crying. Just like the worst crying you've ever seen in your life. Just like crying, and like my face gets really red, like boogers are coming out of all the holes of my face.
Roll deception.
My maternal instinct kicks in, and I just turn and stand and start to look a little bit angry as I look at this.
Roll intimidation.
Roll a critical miss!
It's a natural one.
Yep.
He just blinks at you. He blinks at you.
But I still continue just because I'm worried about quinoa.
What was the...
20 gold pieces, milady. I don't believe I have a stutter.
But you made her cry.
If you call that
sorry.
crying.
Sorry, you made them cry.
My sadness is more authentic than hers at this moment.
I don't like people who make people
I
cry.
didn't see anything.
Then grow sad at her own sadness. For she
It's
made
a they,
herself
not
cry.
her.
I said it's, milady. So no, I don't see people like hers.
Let's go outside, quinoa. Let's go find
Actually, she's not going anywhere until she pays a fee.
How about 1 gold?
That's your new life inside the arena.
2 gold.
I
Can
support man's plan entirely. He tried to steal for was a very dear friend of mine, so...
Can I go up while they're not
Okay.
they're all talking and no one's paying attention, and I try to just punch him in the face?
Oh!
If I see her, do I see her going to do that? Because I will attempt to restrain her.
Roll perception.
If I see her, I'm gonna roll perception.
Should she roll stealth?
Well, Chase needs to make sure that she's
I'm
going
also
into
going
the
to
fight.
try.
Should she roll
No,
stealth?
if I see her fighting, I'll give
Okay.
you the money. Is also the thing.
14.
So
14?
What am I rolling for?
You roll stealth.
What is this? Seems like a cool choice.
Yeah.
5
Monster manual
plus,
out.
Oh
There's
boy.
no barman in the monster man.
I have 10.
No, there's some strong.
So does that mean I see her in time?
Well, what did you get?
I have
Sorry.
10.
And I have 14.
So less.
So yeah, you notice that she's making a move.
Alright, then I will make the move across to restrain her, because I very much like the relationships I've built in this town.
So you walk up to restrain her. Roll what would it be? Athletics, I think. And you roll athletics as well.
It's a 5 plus.
Minus a 7.
I have a 9.
Okay, so you guys both didn't really do that well. You both kind of grappled and you stumbled like kind of helplessly on the ground and kind of slap fight each other. And I think his name was
that on YouTube.
Helver just turns and 20 gold pieces, man. So at this point, you guys have tried 3 times. You have 5 gold pieces left.
Yeah. I think I can't. I was just so scared.
Pee your pants successfully.
Does that mean and temporarily have minus 5 charisma?
I try to look at quinoa and I say,
Happens to me too.
Wait, what was the kerfuffle?
So, she tried to steal beer.
Try to steal beer once Calissa had left. So we
Oh,
don't know. So
yeah.
They,
I was going to follow the woman who left.
Okay, so as you make for the door bursts open. You see Calissa run back through the bar, and there's over the bar is massive broadsword, just about as like big as Featherwicket's entire body. And Calissa just takes it off and just busts back out through the door.
That's
Right.
Okay, let's go. To see what's happening.
I chuck it down.
Calissa, do you require assistance of any sort?
She's like, honey, after 25 years, I require no assistance. She gives you a little wink and then just walks out the door.
She requires a vast amount of assistance.
I chuck my beer and
So
I set it
she
down.
even grabbed the sword right out the door?
Yeah, so she went back out the door.
Is it the front door or is it the back door?
It is...
the door of the bar or is it?
It is the front door of the bar.
Okay.
It's kind of just the entrance and exit. There are back entrances, but they don't. You kind of don't really know where to go.
Sure.
If we look down the street to where she's going, do we see anything happening down the street?
Oh, so you guys are outside. So as you walk outside, you see a kind of group of people surrounding what looks like kind of a little clearing, or like if someone was there. And in that clearing, You see let me see. Sorry. I probably could have prepared more. So you guys see a small, like you see people like kind of leaning forward. You actually can't see what's in there. It seems to be lower than human height. It's something that's like out, like, you just see people like gathered around, and people are kind of backing each other off, but they're not really sure what to make of what's there. You walk towards it.
I pull out my book that I take bets on, and start asking around to see if there's anything worth if there's any action.
So gambling, like there's a fight you want to bet on?
Yeah, I'm assuming that there's a fight going on, and I'm starting to look and see if it's worth my interest.
So as you get move forward, you see that there really isn't. There's not much space. It's about as big as this kind of area here. And at the bottom, I think you came closest. You notice that there's something that looks like it's burning. It looks like a small skull. And there seems to be kind of the same blue ethereal flame burning around it. And it's levitating just about 3 feet off the ground.
Hey, you smart one. Do you know what this is?
How close are you?
The edge of the circle.
So you're right close to it? Okay, so you're at the edge of where the people are. Okay.
Can I roll to see if I know what it is?
Yes. Go ahead and roll me that would be you can either do Arcana or History.
They're the same.
Yeah.
9.
So...
Not
so smart after all.
So...
the arcane.
You feel very confident you can make up what this is, but you're not really sure exactly what it is. You get the sense that it has something to do with skulls and fire.
I'm gonna try and one up Wexley and do an arcane attack.
Okay.
So I can sense that you don't like me very much, and I'm kind of wanting to
Prove yourself.
dig up on the funny.
Oh, is it 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just say, obviously, it's a flaming skull.
Okay, so you go up to the skull and you see some similar sigils that you all recognized before. So the sigil of fire, and then you actually, plumbing the depths of your memory, can tell that this has something to do with an elemental cult, and skulls like this were used as channels to use fire magic to resurrect and re-embody corpses. So you see that this seems to be a channel that might have been used, but something seems off with this. This is not just a device. Something is going on. And there's,
What do you think happens if you poke it with your axe?
Yeah, that's my question. I was going to do the same thing as you.
I'm being very sure to stand behind him when this happens.
Yes.
Is it moving or?
it's staying there levitating, and it's just like, and you can see its like jaws are kind of moving, but you can't hear any words, even at that short distance.
So,
is it a human skull?
good question.
Huh?
Is it a human skull?
Yes.
So I'm taking my.
Pardon me?
I just want to look at it and be like, hello, friends.
So you're still staying in the same
Yeah.
radius, right? You're not getting any
And I just
closer?
want to be like, hello, friends.
So the skull keeps rotating, its jaws just like moving, as if it's trying to say something.
Sorry, what's the scene around this skull?
So there's, you're in the town center, kind of some brick buildings. The inn is just right behind you. It's actually just seems to have happened like right in front of the inn. Kind of the brick buildings, that same like downtown setup, those two kind of cross streets. So you guys are right in that X. A few people seem to have come from the nearby buildings. Still out in those external streets, you actually see less traffic than even you did the day before. Yeah.
So I'm taking my one of my javelin and trying to poke it at its. And if I see any fire coming back, I'm going to
Pull away.
pull away.
So as you move your hand towards it,
Yes.
you cross the barrier of the crowd. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
So, that's...
Very barbarian.
Wait, choices. Constitution... 15.
15?
Yes.
Alright, just get one of these. Alright, so you're going to take... So you're going to take 2 points of necrotic damage. And you are immediately going to hear a voice that says, "The last laugh, you'll be next." And then suddenly you see a vision of the entire town just burning in these blue flames. And then you see where that delegate stand is with those nice little flyers. You see, I think it's 5 bodies. Just like kind of ethereal bodies, like levitating in the air, kind of circling around each other. You recoil back because it hurt you, stunned you with this necrotic damage, and immediately the vision vanishes.
Totally he sees it.
Yep, only he sees it.
I think we should move out of town.
I have to read those flyers, and I'm intrigued because I would like to read them. So I go over to the stand.
Mhm, to the stand.
So,
So, yeah.
I'm trying to gather you and tell you what I saw.
Okay, so you tell them what they saw.
Like, we're not telling everybody.
Let me see if I can remember.
I mean, I know expert in blue flames, but I'm not sure I'd like to talk to them.
Just after that, I'm going to run silently, take a bucket of water and try to launch it on the sky.
So you're going to throw a bucket of water on it?
Yes.
What's Felicity doing with the broadsword? Do you see her?
So she's just like kind of standing guard. So she's ready for a fight, but she's, unless it's going to start messing with her business, she's not getting involved.
It's really messing with our business. People don't have many customers.
When I see this as for a broadsword, I just take my great axe out and hold it up.
And compare?
Which was bigger, the broadsword or the great axe?
Okay. What's that?
Which was larger, the great axe or the broadsword?
She's been in this business for 25
She's shorter
years.
than me, so.
Yeah, so yeah, it's true.
The great axe would be the smaller.
So you take some water, you throw it on the skull. The ethereal flames don't seem to go out. They just kind of seem to keep burning, just ignoring the impact of water. So it's
Do we have ethereal water?
Can we bless some water?
That's a good idea. So I'm doing it again. Okay, watch out.
He's like, I've already told you what it is. It's a skull with legs. I don't understand about this. Should we try to hit it for a
Thanks for the follow, whoever that was. Sorry, I'm not paying attention.
So I'm over there reading the flyers. Do I learn anything of interest for the flyers?
So you learn that there's a series of delegates from all kind of the different magic schools, all the different races that's going to be coming through this valley. They seem to be carrying various relics and artifacts from each of their peoples and kinds. And the town of Redlark, this is the biggest deal that's come around for them in a long time. So they are, trying to open up trade agreements and stuff like that. So you kind of read that on the flyer. So you read that on the flyer.
Does it have a date? Do we know if it's coming up soon or is it now?
They're arriving in around a week's time.
How many levels are we getting?
I fell asleep for a week.
Meanwhile, the rest of us died.
Oh, where is everybody? Oh, hey, there's some delegates. What's up?
We get it later and then we
People there. Where are all these places? I was asleep.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they're actually quite close. So if you look on the map, they're like kind of moving around, doing like the whole glad handing tour.
Make it a search.
Kissing babies and stuff on their way.
Talk to the people around the circle who are watching and find out if they've seen anything like this before, or if this is new.
Did they see where it came from?
Yeah.
Here.
Has this been happening? Is this old?
So go ahead and roll me a. What would be the right one for this? Yeah. Persuasion or diplomacy would count, whatever size.
Diplomacy's not.
Oh, or deception.
How does a 5 work for you?
So you pull aside one of the townspeople. You know, you kind of itchy.
Messy before?
And I'll step in when I see us there. I'm sorry, we're just very curious about what's going on here. Is this something that happens often around here? Where did this one come from?
Yeah.
And I'm going to see if I can relate better.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were successful.
That is a 19.
Yeah. So he kind of gives Featherwidget like another. He's like, yes, well.
My grad is still out too.
Yeah. Hi. I don't kill people for a living. Well, yeah, let's keep going. So you pull aside the guy and you say, hey, like, what is going on? And he's like, wow, for the last year, stranger things have been happening, but
Stranger things?
stranger things indeed. So he says, yeah, strange things have been happening. People in the quarry have been having monsters walk out of it. We've heard of. He's like, those were only just the beginning. We've heard of. I gotta find all the different things. There's been skulls like this. There's been skulls like this all through the valleys. People who've moved away from the lakes because, and they've all come to the city because the water will start attacking them or trying to sink their boats. People living in the mountains have had more rock slides in all of our history. Everyone's just coming to the city and hoping that, maybe these delegates can help us solve whatever's going on.
I have noticed that not that many people here.
Well, they're all in their houses. You look around the streets, young lady. Of course they're not going to be going outside in times like these.
So this, whatever it is in the center of town, do you happen to know how we can rid ourselves of this atrocity?
Well, a few of the business owners have been trying to figure this out for themselves, so we're going to let one of our merchants come through and take a look, but, if we let Calissa have her way, she's just going to chop this damn thing in half.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
So you can try to convince Calissa to do what she does best and protect her business, if you want.
I'm explaining to Kalisa what I saw with the skeleton.
Pardon me?
I'm explaining to Kalisa what I saw when,
So you tell her what happened, and she's like, same stuff I've heard with all these damn things, but they still want to take a look at it. It's terrible. Just wasting my time and killing my business with this nonsense undead and random things going out of control. I just can't stand it.
Really, with flying blue skulls.
It's not great for business. I'll
Pretty
tell you that.
stories.
Yeah. It's not great for business.
I want to take a swing at it. Just,
So go ahead and roll persuasion. That was basically. Roll her. Skills. I'm gonna say you didn't get it. Yeah. So she's like, I'd rather just wait for who's the merchant here? Endrith to come just take a look. I'd rather be on the safe side, honey.
okay.
So a few moments later, kind of a frumpy-looking lady with lots of coats and seems to literally carry her entire shop. Uh-oh, did we lose something? Oh no!
Who would you for?
These couches consume bags. It's very sad. Yeah, we can do this scouring. I have an extra couple. I think I have one here.
Okay.
But yeah, so you see this kind of frumpy lady seems to be carrying her entire shop with her. Lots of different jingles and stuff like that. You guys can also purchase things from her if you want. but I don't really know where to find the prices, so you don't have to.
Can I do some sort of like knowledge check to find out if my fire potion works against this like weird necrotic fire?
Yeah. Go ahead and run a Arcana check.
Okay.
And I would like to purchase a bangle. Excuse me. I would
Yes.
like to purchase a bangle.
That's at 12.
Bronze, silver, gold. Like, she ignores the skull just to, like, do a deal. Bronze, silver, gold, honey.
And what's the difference?
One's bronze, costs you one bronze. One costs you one silver, and one costs you one gold. Well, the bronze is a little simpler. It's more for your casual wear. Silver is, actually was featured by a very famous blogger named Jeff Knows Clothes. And the gold was, it has the slight, some people say that our gold, jewelry has a little bit of its own power. I'm something of a practitioner myself.
So bronze
Usually we just have a paper that's like Instagrams.
I also have what was the fellow's name? What's his name? He's a bard, I believe.
Oh yes, Giles. He's a very famous one.
Clothes.
Giles knows clothes.
Yeah.
That's a very famous
So
one.
I buy silver.
Okay, so take a silver off, and you get a silver pendant. It
Doesn't
doesn't.
want to wear it around my ear. How will I get your
Okay, so you take the bracelet and you just big old hoop earring. And it doesn't have any magical ability, but you feel like you could enchant it somehow.
Okay. I have 12 for my armor.
Okay, so it's simple enough where you can tell that this fire seems to operate under similar rules as normal fire, though it may be coming from a different source. So you probably could be protected by using your potion against it. Probably wouldn't need to use your entire potion. You probably could take half just to try to handle the spell for a few minutes. The potion lasts for 10 minutes.
Okay, I slew a couple drops from the potion,
Okay.
and then I try to pick it up.
Okay, so you take a couple of drops of your potion. As you enter the circle, you feel this wave of kind of hot, like just heat. It doesn't feel as burning as normal. Run a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving means
Just like run. It'll see your saving throws. You just roll a d20. You'll probably pass this check. Unless you're really unlucky, you'll pass this check anyways. Okay, yeah, so you're fine. So you don't take any damage. You see that same kind of transformation take place where around the delegate stand you see these like 5 figures kind of floating in a circle. It seems to be kind of like this ephemeral like vision. You see all the buildings on fire with this kind of blue flame. Yeah, the same vision that you saw. As you actually wrap your hands around the skull, you feel roll Arcana one more time. Yeah, that'll do it. Just core, that'll be enough. So as you wrap your hands around the skull, you feel a connection with the person who possessed it. And it kind of, you feel like kind of a charge of almost electricity around your arms. And then you sense another presence. Where actually is the other presence? Down in the Slumber Hills to the south.
I sense presence and I
and then you feel as you sense that presence, you see kind of a person holding the skull in one hand, and then in his other hand is like an open, just eternal flame.
Where are the Slumber Hills relative?
Just south. So you had the fight to the northwest of the city. Slumber Hills is totally completely south. Maybe about like a couple hours walk. Really? I could be wrong. Yeah, well, further south. Yeah.
I want to look around at the good village people and Melissa and see what they want me to, what they think I should do with the skull.
So yeah, as you grab it, hold it for a second. The connection continues. You kind of get a sense of where this person is. The light goes out. The spell just becomes inert. So once you kind of like move, it just goes dead.
So you probably sense that you probably know that you saw him.
Oh shit.
Seeing that.
I put it down and I crushed it under my boot.
Okay. That's successful.
Perfect.
I say I need a drink.
Yeah. So
Also, it
yeah.
turns out that my character is slowly emerging and my character is a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
Which is why I
That's
tried
right.
to punch the bar dude.
Try to fight. Decided to get in the fight.
It's also still morning, right?
Yeah. It's about like 8, 9 a.m.
Right, she's just a head. She can't count it.
Yeah.
I just do much drugs.
You just do a bunch of drugs. That's good. So you bring the skull to Calista and you're like, hey, what just happened? She just like rolls her eyes. This seems to be something that's been happening a lot. She says, listen, whoever's been doing this, this is just another freaking person buckling off these troubled times. And she just like shakes her head.
So you said it was the South Hills?
Yeah, so Slumber Hills. But from Callista's comment, you get the sense that you could probably find other shit going on right now.
So, why do they send spells with, that gives you that kind of vision when you go there?
Why does anyone do anything?
No, I mean, if they wanted to do it, I would just not send spell and just do it. I mean, a week or so, just, take over it. There.
You can roll Arcana. Yeah, if you want to find that.
18.
So 18?
Yes.
Okay. So you get a sense that necromancy and certain types of magic that use fire tend to use fear as a fuel.
Oh. So that's why Bowman doesn't want to eat their power.
I want to ask where the real fight is. A lot of rages.
She's like, listen, we just gotta take it one step at a time and crush these bastards that come and try to mess with my business. You understand? No, it's worth your time, honey. Whoever's doing this, kick their asses.
I asked Calista if she got anything stronger than ale.
She pats her pockets. She packs her pockets and like holds a flask in her hand. Roll persuasion. She's kind of like,
16.
oh, it's 16. I thought it was 20.
17.
So she like looks at you and she just passes you her flask.
Yeah!
So yeah, successful. So she poured herself a shot first, obviously.
Yeah.
So now you're going to be drinking and burping all the
I thought about doing that. I'm going to
Open up
do that for the
window
entire
or something. How does Moises in here? Yeah.
How do they work?
I asked Lisa if there's like anyone else who knows and kind of we can talk to who's like maybe had more like, severe encounters with
So there's a number of different buildings in town, all of which you guys can go to. The blacksmith named Eldris. She says there's another guy named Mango Barrel.
Strong.
So yeah, there's the town baker. There's a constable. So like there's kind of like this is a general town. You have the baker. You have like the police. You have the blacksmith, the people who are kind of fixing stuff for people, like the handymen. So you can kind of go and like investigate more from any of them, or you can pursue this particular lead.
I chose the baker because before we started drinking,
Yeah, so we need to sober up a little bit.
like a croissant in stomach would be a good idea before we proceed with the adventures of the. We don't have time for that.
Alright. So.
Yes, well, this is my breakfast.
So you walk over to the baker's house. Is kind of on the north side of town, so you kind of turn away from town center, head north. Kind of the same quaint red buildings and similar kind of view. Pretty empty streets, a lot of people in the houses. As you get to the bakery, it looks like he's still open. Kind of like a bigger, heavier set guy. Definitely samples his own merchandise. Yeah. So you see kind of like a few different pastries and stuff lined up. He kind of has the same bored look of a merchant getting no business that Callisto did back in town, where he's just kind of like looking at the door aimlessly. His name is Lauren. So Lauren is kind of sitting behind the counter. As you guys walk in, he like perks up and kind of like starts, mopping up the countertop, sort of thing. You have 6 customers coming in.
One confectionery, please.
He's like, that will be 1 copper.
Here you go.
There you go. Thank you very much, sir.
And I slam my hand out on the counter and I say, 12 confectionaries, please.
That'll be 12 coppers.
There you go.
There you go, man. So, and then like he's juiced. He is like so stoked that he's selling pastries. He's like, what else can I do for you all? How's everything going today?
Now that you mention it.
It's been quite interesting out in town square. I'm not sure if you were around for all the commotion.
Not surprised, times like these.
Times like that's exactly it. You should be saying times like these. Well, we came here simply for a small gathering of events we go to, and all of a sudden we're hearing all kinds of things about this town and its problems. And what exactly does times like these mean?
Well, my specialty is cakes, but what I can tell you is, really depends on how many dozens of pastries you buy.
I'll take another dozen.
That'll be 12 coppers, man.
Thank you, sir.
Pastries.
That will be 5 silvers. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, gold piece. Yeah, absolutely, man. He takes the gold piece. As you wish, man. So he takes a massive box of pastries and gives it to you.
I will just take care of the finances.
So he's like, yes, to your question, sir. And he is just like ecstatic, like just grins, like, folding his hands, like, let me tell you, I can't speak about all the reports I've been hearing, but something has changed around here, and everything seems to be coming out of the woodwork these days, if you take my meaning. So all these troublemakers like to piggyback on things. I myself saw over the hills to the west and by the river valley, they had some freaking trolls over here in my own town. I never even heard of such things in these times.
So I'm eating my confectionaries and there's like crumbs falling out and I spit like trolls and like crumbs falling into my confectionaries fly to his face.
See a little fall from the hills, trolls.
That's my thought myself. Before I was a baker, I did my fair share of adventuring. And, well, those things tend to not venture too far from the mountains.
Seagulls like an incentive or something.
Your guess is as good as mine. I've hanged my axes up many years ago, sir. Much better to make cookies and make people happy than make them bleed. Just take my meaning.
Make cookies.
When you are no longer under contract, you can do this for me.
That's right. The contract.
That's behind the name.
I'm still eating my confectionaries and then I try to knock them and I spit it out.
Alright, thank you. It seems that my skills were in the baking adventures. Yeah. You look like Scarface, Lily. So he kind of looks around. He's like, anybody else wants to make some purchases?
So I'm worried that they're gonna force feed me food. And I just want to be so I like start sneaking out, and I'm gonna go look for a shop.
Do you want them to see you sneaking out, or are you trying to like remove stuff out? Roll that stealth.
I want to follow.
So what that's So
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask him if he has
I have 11.
anything more interesting to say.
Well,
Basically, I'm asking if he's spicy.
See his spice. He's like, so what do you? How do you ask me? What are you saying here?
I was just going to ask him if I was looking for something. Tastes are great. Tastes are great.
Thank you.
I'm just looking for something a little bit more exciting.
You might want donuts. And he like pulls out like a bunch of glazed donuts and puts them on the table. These are 2 coppers each, sir, and I'm gonna guarantee they are a delightful experience myself.
Hey, he knows exactly what I'm asking. And I will buy all of them.
Here you are, sir. Have a nice day. 20 more coppers. Thank you, sir. Oh yes, I use cinnamon and vanilla in most of my pastries, man. I spice quite heavily. And as you like walk out the door, you like see him just like. So you have a box. They are so heavy that you are actually currently encumbered. So actually, give me a strength check before you roll your encumbrance.
I mean, you could give them to the rest of the people in town, but it's wild. Or we could eat them.
Oh.
Okay.
How many can I eat?
I'm ready for you.
Okay, so they are way too heavy for you. You can maybe take 1 box without slowing yourself down, but you're barely able to walk.
I'm thinking a few
Take a box and you're eating a few.
I'm thinking a few boxes and then maybe better.
You're taking a few boxes. So these are like big boxes.
How many per box? This is
Okay,
I'll get one of them.
Yep.
I'll take 2.
Okay. So
How many can I eat until we get the throw?
you only have 1 box and you have two
We
boxes.
got 2 left.
I'll take a box.
So you guys so far have enough information that there is a troll to the west. There is something going on to the south with this fire. Yeah, you can keep looking around trying to understand
I
what's
rolled
going
an
on.
11 to it for my sneaking away.
So you're sneaking away. Who wanted to watch? Okay, so you have no idea. Nobody else seemed to care.
I don't care about anybody either.
Okay, so you go to the bookshop.
So I sneak off looking for
Okay, so then there's a bookshop that's owned by a gentleman named Tanner. He's like very kind of thin and sallow, and it seems that unless you're very, very, like he is very like sharp-eyed, like sits at his desk. It's kind of just a table and books in the back. So these days, books are very, very valuable. But you do see in the back where there's a bookstop and all this like must and dust. This like kind of some of the books can also be glowing at some level. He sits there very like prim and proper, and says, "Welcome, Adam, to our shop."
Thank you. I'm just browsing.
Yes. And all you see is just the counter, and then the books are like behind him. It's like a closed counter. He's like, "Yes." So you can like gaze some of the titles. They seem to be just some of them fiction, some of them about the area, and some of them seem to be almost like lore or history books. And then the ones in the very back are spell books, but those are probably like way out of your price range.
I asked him if do you have any books about local geography and
Yes, imagine.
They're the inhabitants.
Absolutely imagine. So he goes to the back, he kind of pulls the book out, and he opens it up, and you see a map on the first page that looks very similar to this for Red Larch. I wish, I don't know where the full valley picture is. But, but yeah, oh, there we go, hooray! And this is the entire valley. So, that's kind of what you all see. So we're in Red Larch, right, not the Summer Hills, like right around, I think you're right around there.
Okay.
There's a bunch, this is like massive map. Oh, they're right here. I don't know if you can see. Save one for me. Yeah, so then you guys are in Red Larch. So what he says is, as you flip through the book, you see it's a little bit older of a history book. Run me a history check real quick.
Oh dear. The 2 and 4.
So you see some language about the different areas of like the town and different types of magic having an affinity there, but you're kind of like, oh, cool, maths and shit, like great. So yeah, you kind of flip through it. I don't think you have any of those points yet, so yeah, I guess you can't use those just yet. So all the more reason to, oh yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, so if you guys collect more of those, oh, that's good. They're really good. So you don't really take much out of the history. You kind of sense that there's some sort of area affinity with each of the different types of magic, so you can kind of gravitate to different areas here. That's all you really gather. You don't know what or how they correlate.
Okay. Can I read about where the area was where I Summer Hills?
Yeah, so Summer Hills is where you felt the connection. You flip in a little bit further. Give me another arcane, history check.
7.
Yeah, so you notice that this town and the Summer Hills, and even a little bit north of this town, tends to have an affinity towards the fire elements, which tends to attract a lot of those different types of mages. You find some like very obscure references to like a great temple in that area. So like there's apparently some massive fire temple built by some like ancient elves many years ago. Very, very vague. But you get the sense that this area seems to have an affinity towards fire and those types of magic that branch off of it, like necromancy and stuff like that, where certain necromancers are specialized in fire.
I speak Elvish. Was the language there, was that Elvish language?
It was written in common. These are history books in a kind of a very, kind of up there area.
So there was some, regarding
well, you just kind of skimmed through the part about the other area, yeah. So you kind of gather that there seems to be an affinity for fire in the southern part of the town, namely the Summer Hills.
Can I ask you if I can buy one of those
he goes back and he says, which spellbook would you be interested in? We have one of magic missile and a few other types. They begin at 5,000 gold pieces.
Good grief!
Yes, ma'am. And you just sit quietly.
I know, I'm trying to figure out how much I can, haggle with.
Negotiate down from 5,000.
I'll give you one gold piece. And the best hug of your life.
Roll persuade. He's like, I'm so very flattered, madam. But with one gold piece, we can get you some wonderful books on history, but unfortunately, spellbooks are quite rare.
Is Is he doing any beverages of any sort?
He seems to be the most buttoned up. Like everything is in perfect line. There's no water near this place.
I tried to persuade him to drink some of my liquor.
Okay, roll persuasion.
Sorry, 16 plus. 17.
So he's like, thank you, man, but and you can tell like he's like holding back like deep rage that you brought liquid into his sanctuary. And he just like snaps your hand. He's like, nothing can happen. If you just don't let it. And he just like pushes you kind of out the door. But he didn't react in like an angry and absolutely grateful way, which he would have if you hadn't rolled so well.
I go back and try to rejoin.
Okay, so you rejoin the group. So you guys kind of gather. There's some stuff going on outside of town. There seems to be this bigger sort of issue with like the land that's kind of causing some of these other little smaller things to bubble up. So far what you guys know is there are some more townspeople who probably have heard of some other reports. There is the kind of something going on in the south that is tied to the skull, and something going on in the kind of like west and northwest, where this troll was reported.
Do we want to fight troll or go south?
Do we know if
Oh, sorry.
don't like fire?
This is
It's
to be a source of all power.
Which means you're gonna die immediately.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
So we should go fight troll.
I mean, we could just casually take out the troll. We could town zeros and then leave.
Yeah. Before we leave though, I think we should remember to stop. I think we talked about the police. Which you said is, right?
Huh?
Would you like to go and get that potion off order? Extremely high on the line?
There you go. So have you eaten a donut?
No. I mean, yes, absolutely.
You're con saving throw. They're delicious donuts. You kind of feel that like sweet glaze just kind of on your tongue. You feel kind of a tingling in your fingers, but you don't feel anything.
I'll hang on to the rest of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Actually, no, I have to eat another one because now I want it.
oh yeah, con saving throw.
That's 15.
So you actually feel great. It was a delicious donut. You don't feel any of the tingling in your fingers.
And I'm starting to get real skeptical about this baker, this little thing.
Yeah, you don't feel the tingling this
I
time.
feel like I may have been had.
So we need 45 minutes.
I mean, clearly played like 5 more, right? That's how this whole thing works.
Yeah. Or 4 more actually. Okay, so yeah, there you guys are. Yeah, we'll get to it. You'll be safe, or you probably will be leveled no matter where you go. So don't worry about walking in anything too crazy just yet.
I think talking about these might be a good idea before we leave town. Figure out if there's anything else that's
And then maybe a little bit, but that's.
I mean, cops love donuts, right?
Cops love donuts. They like spice donuts.
I mean,
Okay, so you walk out of the constabulatory, and the constable at the lead cop is this really tall, very muscular lady. She kind of has a a baton in one hand, what looks like a kind of like a wand of some sort of like carved Material, on the other hand, the city constable is on the east side of the city. It's kind of walk through another set of quiet streets to get there. Lower building, flat roof. It's not as like nice as the other ones. There is what looks like kind of an enclosure in the back, but it really is tiny. It's just like this lady, her desk, a cell. That's like the city's prison. It's like a small town. Nobody's in the cell. It's empty.
And then I sat with the lady and I'm sitting up here and asking her to put it
You're pulling a weapon on the police officer.
She snaps her like her work down and she's like, "Do you have a carry permit for that, like lady?" Yes, but that is a unconcealed weapon. You have an unconcealed carry permit. Excellent. She's like, "How may I help you all today?"
We just figured we'd stop by and make sure everything was okay. There was quite the to-do in the middle of town today. I didn't actually see you out there.
Yes, one of my deputies was there on site.
I mean, we're here. We were able to take care of the situation today. We were seeing if there was anything else that we might be of service.
We were doing your job for you. Sorry, I'm going to do your job for you. I was going to say.
The drunk woman over here to take care of it. Sorry, the drunk thief over here.
She frowns at you and she's like, "I don't understand the implication of what you're trying to say." She sits back in her chair and points to the wall where there is a little feedback box with like writer feedback. It's actually inside the cell. So she just goes like that and looks at you. And looks back to the rest of the group. Is that all?
You have beautiful eyes.
Oh, thank you.
Just beautiful. I'm getting to the most of them.
Roll persuasion. Or deception, whatever you think is more accurate. Bribery is not considered smart on my town.
My name is Wesley, the renowned scholar.
Yes, I've heard of you.
Oh, very good. I've been investigating reports of your country and heard of any unusual reports of your position.
Quite a few, actually. But the most prominent one that one of our deputies actually has not returned from recently is to the east. There's quite a large lake, but I shouldn't be discussing classified information with you. As much as I would have loved and have been nice on my own with the chat.
I roll my eyes.
I take out other different chairs.
Dancing with vampires. Doesn't like me. You just stand with your words.
Yeah, we got the lake. There's some busy person at the lake in the east. We got Gold to the west. We got magic and Inverness. We do stuff.
Would you like perception?
I don't accept harassment.
Can I do a setup check and see what have
You can try to persuade me. What's that?
Can I do a setup check and see if there's anything like on her desk or like anything
Yeah. Roll perception. Roll perception.
What's the modifier? Is there one?
Yeah, it'll be.
Oh, no, doesn't matter. I got one.
And I do have some lovely spice goodness.
No, we don't.
So okay.
So it's nice. I'm a lady.
Still alive.
It is kind of like the Okay.
I'm drunk.
Yes, ma'am. And then she points to like the cell. There's a little sign that says like sobering up area. Like the other one in the cell.
I usually do that. Straight out.
Get out of here. Alright, so you're back out in the streets. So you notice, even though it's getting, it's kind of, you guys have been patrolling around most of the day. So it's right around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It's getting pretty dark. It's kind of getting a little bit dim already. And like almost overcast. So the conservatory is still talking to you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, if...
Wait, you want to roll a perception, right?
I got one.
Oh, okay. It didn't happen.
Well, we are in town for another couple of days, so if you require assistance, if your sheriff or whoever you send to the lake, which you know nothing about, of course, does not return, we may be able to offer our services.
She nods and says, "Listen, if you do want to help, we are low on people with all these happenings going on. There's been reports of water sprites and water demons growing quite rampant, attacking villages. Something seems to be causing it. I can't go into any more without classified information, you understand, but if you go to the lake, look for Robert. He was a good friend."
Okay. Well, I'll specify that as in those two.
So we have water spirits, we have fire spirits.
I could put a copy of Dancing with Vampires and just
Yeah.
What does everybody else think?
And she like presses it. Like a girl.
I said it.
I feel like we're going to find something regardless of where we go.
Yeah.
I think we can fight like the gold of the water sprite and become stronger.
I think it's probably gonna have to get harder though.
Or yeah, gold one is level, but then it doesn't matter.
You should be safe.
This is like saying whenever we go, they're a little look at this.
This is fine. I don't like them.
I think...
Either this person is alive, and then it's good, or it's dead, and that's like, you have to...
Well, I have to say, if the person's alive, and, I mean, there's a chance that they're still alive. Probably we're investigating to see if we can rescue them if they have trouble. The others you can see, the others wait, patrols off immediately harming anyone. And there's not going to what was, that's sort of flaming so the town.
Shadows.
Yes, it is time.
All in favor.
I don't know.
Alright.
That's voting.
All in favor. And we're going towards the trolls. Say aye. Alright. Not the trolls. All in favor. I'm going south, which is just on the hills. Necromancy. Say aye.
Yeah!
All in favor of water sprites, water demons. Was that 3? Water sprites it is. I don't care.
Okay. So you take the road east out of town, and you get to, it takes a few hours of hiking. It gets a little bit darker, and you start to, as it's kind of getting through like the late afternoon, you start to kind of feel this like sense of cold coming up from the south, as if something is going on down there. But you keep heading east. You go through the night. You take a rest. You wake up the next morning. Keep heading east until you finally reach a massive, massive lake. It seems almost as wide as like kind of like the entire city. You can barely see the other side. It's huge, like a mile or two across. There's a few kind of farming villages on the edge. You notice that most of the farming houses seem pretty deserted, like they've been closed for a long time. But there is like one kind of, a few kind of figures hurrying between the houses, pulling up nets. And it's, this is early morning, so they're kind of setting up these boats and, getting ready for their day of fishing.
Oh, it has that. So if night is past.
So night is past. Next day, you're in this kind of little fishing village. Sorry, along the water, and people are kind of starting to like set up their nets. Just a few people. Like there's a bunch of houses just kind of like laying in the water. Only a few of them seem occupied. Most of the rest seem deserted. A few people are just kind of getting like putting nets into boats and stuff like that.
Okay. So I guess go which chapter one of the
Yeah.
And I'll say, there seems to be quite a few houses around here, but so few out fishing today. Not to fish out, so.
Yes, they don't want to deal with the water sprites, sir.
The water sprites. Well, that's actually kind of why we're here. We heard reports in the city of a gentleman named Rob. That's actually what we're looking for. There was a sent to deal with the reports of some water sprites. And I happen to see you come through here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see you're very close man, so let's get straight to the point. Where would we find this plot?
Hey, take one of the spare boats and went out to the island.
Great. Is this any boat to do, or?
It kind of looks around. Like it seems that all these deserted houses have like one or two boats in front of them. Some of them don't really seem, water worthy, but most of them are floating in relatively good order, just with some cobwebs and stuff in them. He's like, we got enough to spare, sir.
I'll let you get back to whatever it is you're doing.
Do these sprites come out of your unit?
It kills you once in a way. He just looks at you and keeps like acting standing as well. I got kids to feed, lady. Don't want to piss off the wrong person, you do.
Then I'll just kind of casually look around and be like, that looks sensible.
So you don't want to push him on anything?
Oh, yeah, I'm looking in his house.
Why would you be afraid of disaster?
I'm looking at his house and trying to figure out how many kids can allow him.
Oh, what's that? You're trying to see how many kids he can have?
Yeah.
What's his review?
Pardon me? Oh, sorry. Sperm count? What's his sperm count?
Yes.
Millions, sir.
How's my liver run out right now?
It's been a day, so you're definitely sobered up.
Alright, so I'm in a horrible mood because I'm hungover and having no more liver, so I don't want to go in the boat, I want to go get my mom also somewhere. I asked him to do anything. But I asked him where I can find.
Around here we only got grog, man.
Grog? What's grog?
It's a bit of rum, a bit of other things. You can have a sip if you want.
Ooh. I will take up my number.
He just passes you a cup, and he seems to be kind of like ready to. He's kind of like backing off, and very happy you're not pressing him anymore on like other more sensitive subjects.
When I pressed you a little bit more, and I
Thank you for your generosity.
Oh yeah, so what did you say?
How do you manage sprites?
Do you manage the sprites?
You
You avoid them, sir.
Oh. But where are there specific days, or do you just get another game?
Go ahead and roll. That'd be persuasion.
Again, I live with an 8, so I guess. So 10.
So he says, listen, whatever's out there seems to know where we are, so they avoid us. We stay by the coast, they don't mess with us. Understand? Stay by the coast. You don't need to, they've sent us a few messages, you understand? You don't need to go off and wander at anything, you understand?
Yes. But the total is I am in the boat.
So you're in the boat?
That's like hacking it.
So you're getting packed up? Okay. So he kind of like starts packing his boat and he like shoves it off, pulls his rope off, and like throws it in his boat and he's like, nice meeting you.
No, I still love to do that.
I have done it a little.
Yeah,
nothing to the love to. No, we don't.
I see that these two are in the
Roll intimidation.
You're getting the boat with us.
No, I'm gonna try and launch you off as a diversion.
14? So he kind of like looks at you, and then you see his eyes like kind of shoot out towards like the center of the lake, as if like, you know, so he kind of checks the center of the lake. And he leans forward and he says, listen, just, if you see the priest, don't mention us, understand, don't mention us. Don't mention we said anything. No, don't tell them, you know, if you see the priest, say nothing. I don't care how much he tortures you, you understand. That we were involved, my friends, the fishers helped you get a boat.
Maybe the guy the genius, the weapons,
So I think that these two that I gave them on this boat.
Yeah.
So I just try to shut them.
Shove them off.
I just want to stay on shore and get off.
Okay. Okay, so you try to push them in the water. You stumble and fall into the boat with two people you hate, enraging him because that's an odd number of people in the boat.
I tell you, please get in the boat. Any of you, one of you, I don't care. Someone get in the boat.
Alright, so everybody piles in the boat. You guys cast off, you start going into the water. As you near the... Yeah.
So we're going to the coast.
I was just starting out of the course. That's where he said Robert.
How far of the coast?
So the island seems to be about maybe a mile or two in the water, so maybe like about 20, 30 minutes paddling, you guys will get there. So you guys start paddling towards the center. You find, so as you all go, let me see if I can actually find this.
Wait, did you choose an head?
Not yet. Wait, now would be a great time to get it. Or else it's boat and then a big bears.
The only thing you can have right now is a fish.
Yeah. I was waiting for an optimal time.
So when you're out of the lake, you have to transport the dog with the
And then concentration checks would get it off.
And then just lap around.
Okay, so as you guys venture into the water, there seems to be a very heavy mist kind of forming around the center island. And you go deeper and deeper, the mist kind of, just gets thicker and thicker, it's hard to see. Everything kind of goes quiet, all you hear is kind of the clap of the water against the boat. It smells kind of very heavy, just water is like, it just like smells like very like swampy and kind of like rotten almost. And now, as you guys are, what's that? So you guys keep just kind of bobbing your way and kind of rowing towards the center island. On the shore, you can start to make out the shore now through the fog. You see kind of some old stonework that looks like it's been kind of just kind of like fallen apart over a number of years, but it's still maybe like a couple of yards away. Everybody roll perception.
perception?
Whatever one of your things you can do.
7.
15.
19.
5.
Okay, so you notice. So you notice this kind of. So you got trying. So both of you notice this just whispering sound starting to like wash in from what sounds like beneath you. And it says, "Who are the intruders? Why are they in our domain?" And it's just kind of this very low. You can just barely make out these words, and then but they seem like very inquisitive almost. It's like, "Who are these people? Where are they?"
This kind of correct?
Yeah.
Are you too spicy right now?
And so since they seem to be like nice and not like hostile or something like, we're just here looking for Robert.
Roll. Actually, you don't hear any response. The questions just kind of continue in this whispering, and then you hear. Is he like the other? The one that went to the islands? Is he like the other? And it's just kind of like.
The water. I remember it in the water. Just kind of.
Yeah, but this one end.
Okay. Cool. Minus 1 hand. So go ahead and roll me a acrobatics check.
Oh boy. Oh, that's not good. I got a 0 modifier.
7.
So a blue hand forms out of the water, grabs your wrist, pulls you in.
Oh!
So she's underwater and potentially drowning. And then 2 figures rise out of the water, and they both seem to be made completely of the water itself. They seem to be kind of feminine in form, but their eyes start kind of glowing this kind of blue, kind of curious look almost. But then something seems to like change the way they look, and they immediately start growing more aggressive and kind of start closing in on the rest of the boat. While there is some unseen hand holding you underwater. Roll initiative.
Do we know if she can swim? Like, is she?
I think she can probably swim.
Do I have a skill for that?
You can probably doggy paddle, but something is currently grappling you right now.
I'm not rolling well at all.
Okay.
5.
Okay. Let me start writing this down. Okay, hold on. Let me start writing this down.
Ooh. Wait, where's the
Well, I think it's actually a first thing. So.
I have a 22.
Okay. So repeat me the initiative. So I got this one, I got a 16, and a 3. What did everybody else got?
I got 21. I got 9 too.
I have 22.
You got 5. 20. So you got 20? You got 20? Okay, you got 22. So these guys are gonna have.
Yeah, 2.
2. Okay. So you go first, sir. So there's these two obvious figures. One is direct. You get a 22. You get a 22. Oh, sorry. So you get a 22. So there's one obvious figure standing directly over where she fell in. So one of them is like right above her, and them. Yeah, sorry. Them. One of them is right. One of them is right above them. And like its hands are like still plugged under the water, as if it's controlling the water, keeping her down. Keeping them down. And it's going to be really hard. Keeping them down. So it is keeping them down. Who? Which one? Keeping them down. To keep the people down.
So I've been informed by my partner friend that lightning is reflecting against water. So I would like to try and use my dragon breath on flame.
Okay, and you have lightning dragon breath.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Go ahead and fire. What do I have to roll against? I think it's on saving throw.
Yeah, in the water.
I don't think they were above the water.
No,
You guys are in the boat. She's underwater.
No, she's firing it.
I'm not in the water today, but the water is something.
Oh, it is.
Nice. I really like this today. Well, I'm like.
Good. And like, I'm not really thinking very clearly.
It's okay, go for it.
Okay,
So,
That's one thing.
I have to roll a saving throw, right?
Every time, and he gives me time to roll a saving throw rather than roll an attack, and then it's like half damage if he makes it.
Okay, and I'm rolling.
So then, what's your? I just need to know your spell save DC.
So yeah, yes, that'll be
Like
good.
my what?
How much? It'll say. So that's how much I have to meet in order to survive.
Where's my oh? Where's my spells? Oh yeah, the dragon.
Well, you should still have a spell save DC.
So 10 plus your combat.
Plus proficiency.
Yeah, choose two right now.
So 8 plus 2 plus 2.
Con is +1, so 11.
And then that's
11?
So
Okay, so it resists, so it doesn't take half damage. Okay. So now roll damage.
So that can use.
Wherever the weapon is.
Damage on a fail save and half as much damage. So 1.
So 1d6.
Oh, you roll 2d6.
Roll 2d6 and that's it, yeah. Okay, cool. Go for it. The normal dice. Roll another one.
You can still get it.
So
Did you
one.
roll 2 ones?
So you, in a dragon rage, just unleash a blaze of fire and of lightning, and it just like knocks off some water. A jolt runs down and zaps you though, and you take 1 damage. Still, even at level 2.
Wizard, the die for a wizard is only like a hole.
This is going to be a fun
Stay underwater.
So we'll say a minute. So these things happen in 6 seconds around, right? So she can stay underwater a minute, which is a few rounds, but she will not be able to do anything while she's underwater because she is panicking in underwater. So you... Well, no, it's holding her down. So the one that she just attacked has like 2 hands kind of plugged into the surface of the water that's like pushing her down. And so you're trying to fight your way up, but there's something blocking you. So now it is like 21.
Yeah. Can I touch? Can I push her? Touch?
Yes.
Okay.
You would have to reach over the side of the boat into the water. You would have to touch the water. Yes, you would definitely have to touch the water.
I'm just gonna cast my sacred flame cantrip.
Okay.
Which does not use
Yeah.
So it's a death saving throw for 13.
Against me.
Yeah. The one that's
Okay, so I hit 13. Does that mean I...
So, and it didn't have a modifier at all?
I'm not adding it.
So 13 generally ties go to the attacker in both cases.
Okay.
So
ties go to the attacker. Okay, boom.
So
There you go.
1d8.
1d8.
3.
So another... You call upon your deity, your light, your hand grows bright with light, and you lash out a beam against this monster holding the thing down. It rocks back, but you see kind of some of the water is like just kind of decaying, like it's having some trouble holding up its form, but it still seems pretty hale of health. I think it is the attacker always wins ties, but AC if you connect, the attacker wins.
Oh, yeah.
No, so it's AC if you hit my AC and then
attacker wins ties.
Then you do the attacker does.
Attacker wins ties. Okay, so now it is the Watcher Damon's turn. The water elemental. So it looks at the man who just zapped it. It takes leaving one of its hands still holding they down. It takes the other one and just strikes out. And as it moves forward, it kind of a long bludgeoning kind of stick. It's like a club. There it is. Appears in its hands, and it takes a huge swing, and it's like kind of huge water club swings at you.
So I
Did a 12 hit.
No!
Alright, so it takes a swing, it misses, it goes high, as you duck below it. Yes.
So for the future, I was incorrect. So it's whatever the DC is the number that you have to hit. So there's not really a concept of a tie. So if you hit that DC, that means that you succeeded on the save.
Oh, okay.
And then same with that AC. If
I hit
I'm trying to hit you and your AC is 12, if I hit 12, that's what I need to hit in order to hit it. I don't have to beat it. So similarly with the DC, if I make the saving throw, that's why I have to hit it. I don't have to exceed it. So if you tie and then you're trying to save, you may make the save.
Gotcha. I mean, it's pretty low. I'm gonna need it. Every one and a half hit points heal. Okay, the next one was the other person who hit 20. Somebody else hit 20? No. Okay, yeah, because you both went. Alright, so then now it is... Somebody had a 17? I think that was me. Never mind. So the other one goes... I had a roll of 17 down there. So the other one looks at you again. Forms a club out of water and swings it down towards you. Does a 16 hit?
No! I was 17.
Ooh!
I got chain those shields before I was starting.
Well, you better not fall in the water, big guy. Yeah, life. Okay, so both of them miss. It goes down to 2 9s.
Yes.
Okay,
so I enter rage.
Okay.
And then I select the whatever does this game they got that one.
Mm-hmm. A thing.
And I'm trying to attack with my more at the face when the water is touching the water.
Okay.
The thing when water is touching the water.
So you're attacking right where it's touching the water?
Yeah,
The grip. Okay.
I think you just no reach. Okay. Okay, that's all right. Oh. And I got a 9 now.
It's not gonna hit.
Alright, so being that they're under the water and they within 5 feet of this thing.
They would be, yeah.
Great. So
It's a bonus. Can you have to be able to sneak behind it though?
So the two ways you get in is either you have an advantage on the road, which you can be behind, or is it an ally with
Fair enough. That'll play.
Even if it's around, it makes those two conditions. So I'll try to take a ranger swing with it.
Okay.
That is an 11. 11 is not. I don't have advantage. Sneak attack with my hand. And then I'll use my bonus action because I can do hide as a bonus action, and I will hide behind my
Please. Okay, so then now it's to use a lady. As a lady. We have a lot of gender. We use gender neutral terms here. It's all.
I'm a little bit nervous about being in the water, but I also like taking the loss. So I'm gonna reach out and maybe ask you to swing like this.
The monster. Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack. That will hit. Okay, so you take and using your great axe. So you take an enormous swing. Your great axe goes through the water, passes through. You feel that its form is shifted a little bit, but something about a blunt instrument doesn't seem to affect it.
Yeah, so I guess it's like resistant to like slashing and piercing and all that stuff.
You said you had five hits? Okay.
Can I take a nap real quick?
Well, I think 20, yeah, you got the 21, right? Initiative?
Yeah, the beginning is later. So they haven't really.
Well, can you use drugs to get out of the water?
Yeah, so did you roll initiative? Oh yeah, you got it too, that's right. So you can try to break the grapple. So you can roll against my strength. See.
So are they technically grappled? Because if they're grappled, they can still like attack and do other things while they're grappled, but like they remain grappled and can't move away until they break the grapple. But you probably want to do that in your grapple.
Yeah, I'll call it a grapple. Where you can do some of your attacks and some of your spells. You can try to like shoot laser beam upwards and kill it, or you can try to like break free. Skedaddle. Yeah, you can probably survive one or two more.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Ray of Frost. Try and use this that way.
Alright.
Would I roll?
Yes, you would. Depending on the spell.
You
can just throw your spell DC.
And then
Actually, alright! So crit! So that means you can do extra damage.
So whatever dice you roll, you now roll double damage.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll 1d8 cold damage. That's 2d8.
So you roll 2.
2.
No. 8, 10. No, because the speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn.
Nice.
Okay. So you fire a bolt of frozen cold upwards. You see the water around like its actual like fingers, even though like his fingers are dipping into the water. You see kind of like ice kind of forming around his fingers, even in water. So you can kind of make out its form a little clearer. It starts like seizing up as it starts to kind of grow like crystalline structures that form up its water-formed body. It jerks back, pulling away from the water. You are no longer grappled.
Yeah.
So you kind of like bounce up to the top. But it's, because it was a crit, it's really not looking good. It's almost like half frozen. It's like.
Somebody hit it while it's frozen.
Ooh, that's smart.
And it is. Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
You had 21. Someone had initiative of 21. Yeah, you're next.
So since spells like their speed is reduced by 10 feet,
Yeah.
my next turn stays like kind of frozen until my next
Well, its speed is reduced by 10, right? So that it just can't move as far. Like, so there's like a movement term where they move like a certain space radius, but it won't make a big difference here. There's 2. One on each side.
And is the other one attacking us right now, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
So we're close enough that I have a longbow, I have a short sword, and I have unarmed strike.
Okay.
We're close enough that I can use my swords, right?
Yeah. Probably a good idea.
Unarmed strike just means like punch it, right?
Oh, I think that's
I don't know any spells.
Your longsword will probably be the strongest.
Yeah, your sword will probably do the most damage. That'll probably do a decent amount.
Oh.
Maybe.
Okay, should I do that right now? Or
We
You
can.
always do it through like one limit round and then allow it to go around to the next person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys think I use my longbow?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot an arrow at it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll attack. D20. And then whatever the additional is, a little +5 or plus something next to it.
Here.
Yeah. +5 to hit.
This is +5.
Nice. It's a 25.
Oh, so you're at 20. And that's 20. So another crit.
So
Go ahead and roll damage.
and then you roll double the number of dice. So 2d1d8.
So 1d8.
So you get
Plus
plus
three.
8 and then plus 3.
That's a D10. This is a D8 right here. Okay, I got it.
Wait, so I'm
Roll twice and then
okay, roll twice and then
7.
and 2. So 12.
Well,
Yep. And so you're shooting at the frozen one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the half-frozen one. So you see your friend bubble up to the surface. You whip the bow from over your shoulder, take a shot. As like the crystals start crawling up the rest of its face, you hit it right in the forehead. The arrow freezes in place, and then cracks start like forming as it just crumbles into dust. Dead. So the other one, seeing its friend destroyed, screams in rage and forms another club in its other hand. And I think you have 21, right? So you still get to go next, but it's pissed. There's some kind of weird echo going on. Yikes. Let me fix that then.
Alright, so we're gonna try and do safer playing again.
Okay, so I should have my spells.
Do your 13 dex saving throw.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
13 dice.
I got it. Saves.
Nothing. No, actually, this says nothing.
Oh, because it's a cantrip, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you don't take anything. Lame.
I would be supporting you all, but none of you would really take any damage, so you know.
Don't tempt him.
Because I've been so good at blocking attacks.
Alright, so now it's 20. So I'm going to go ahead and roll.
Who are you attacking?
I probably am going to attack her because she just killed my friend. So does a Pickle Rick. Where's my thing? Does a 18 hit?
How do I? Oh, it's my.
I'm going to say
Oh, I
yes.
think my AC was like 15.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then it will be, so I'm pretty sure it hits, and that's how many. Okay. 1 second.
Oh, do I have to
pass
track
me
that I
a
use the
D6.
We normally don't keep track of arrows.
Thank you.
It's because of my propane. Unless they're like.
So you take 6 points of damage. 2 of its clubs come crashing down, hit you 1, 2.
And then you can remove 6. So that's
Okay, we have a cleric.
So you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage from the water. Guy who doesn't like it very much anymore.
Can you put the alimentation, the power with the...
No, sadly. Cannon does not be that smart. Yeah. I wish it did, but it's janky. Alright.
Hello again. Or 2 viewers.
The other one. No, he's dead. Whose turn is it now? Mikael?
No, I'm at 8. Oh man, I'm with
9, yeah.
Well, Mikael went first last time, right?
Yeah.
So there was another 20, I thought.
No, you were.
No, Awol was 21. So someone was, so 17 died. I died. Now it's you two.
Okay.
The 2 9s.
So I'm going to, with my free action,
Yeah.
I'm going to launch the pastries inside the, the pastries from yesterday. But I'm going to launch them into the monster.
So they absorb him up. Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack roll, and we'll decide how much damage that does.
Okay.
Yeah.
The classic pastry attack.
Yeah, you got a 14, so that hits. So you successfully throw pastries at it. So you get to do 1d4. Did you throw any of the donuts?
No, he did not throw my donuts.
Okay, so you only get to do 1d4.
I bought them all.
There's 200 of those pastries.
You only get to do 1d4. So, what would this be called? Absorption damage? Sugar damage. Well, you got a 3, so you did better than some people swinging real stuff at it. So these cookies, after being dried for a day, float around in its form, and it groans as like some of its like fingers seem to wilt under the ferocious absorption damage. Okay, so now it's on you, sir.
Okay. So I will. You can tell me if this is an action or if it's a bonus action. I want to take one of the oars and try to reach it out towards where Quinoa is in the water to try to help pull her back in. If that's a free action or if that's a bonus action, then I will attack it. If that's a full action, because I have to have my attention that way to try to get them out of the water, I would do that.
I will say, because you're in the same boat, it's probably a full action.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll go over, grab the oar, and try to.
So go ahead and roll athletics, and we'll make sure that happens.
Well, it's a 2 minus 2, so 0.
So you like, Quinoa! No! And you run to the water, and you just tumble and fall.
Good job.
So both of you are in the water.
That's what I get for trying to be nice.
Yeah.
No, that was the last
So
one.
you're gonna
This was
go
I was trying to be nice.
He learned his lesson right there. He changed that day. Never ever be nice.
So
you
Cold-hearted ale.
get all...
Alright, so
Sorry.
it is on
Me.
Fox, yes, and then you're next.
I looked down at my great axe, knowing
Okay.
that it's going to be mostly useless, but also knowing that's the only thing that I have besides hand axes and javelins, and none of them are gonna. So I just shrug and take another swing at it.
You can use it on the side and try to have a
blood.
instead of using the blade, you can try to use the side of it.
I feel like it's not gonna do anything different.
Which one?
I'm in the spell section. Well,
What's
then
that?
you should use the other side of it instead of the sharp edge. I don't think that would do so much damage.
Concentration means that it stays active, and then if you get hit, then you have to roll to see if you maintain concentration.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be good.
I think the sharp edge is gonna do more damage anyway, so I'm just gonna shrug and be like, whoa, okay. 22.
Okay, so you did a just attack, great axe swing. Okay, so 22. Go ahead. That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
6. Woo!
Okay.
Resistance.
Okay. So you take another big swing. Kind of it leans over as the axe goes through, and you see kind of some of the water being just kind of like it's not seeming to be able to retain its form. It's kind of just dripping. But it is still standing. It is still very unhappy with both of you, or with all of you, and they. So now it is their turn.
Okay, so I'm going to cast Find Familiar,
Okay.
and I'm going to create an octopus.
Octopus?
And then,
What does that spell do?
What?
What does it do? What does the spell do?
So I gain the service of a familiar, a spirit that takes an animal form that we choose. Do they have a physical body?
That's what I'm checking. I don't know that they do.
Oh, so if they don't, I'm going to do something else. The physical body is important to me.
Yeah. Just Google it too. Here. Let's see.
Just get out of the water.
Yeah, I know.
This octopus was gonna throw her into the boat.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Thanks for the host. Much obliged. Welcome, new folks. Glad our audio is working better now. Okay, so you can find a familiar. It acts independently of you.
Mm-hmm.
In combat, it rolls its own initiative and acts on its own turn. It can't attack, but can take other actions. Are you sure you're good with that and not being able to attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, does that have a physical form though?
It sounds like it does.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to cast that spell. It's going to be an octopus. It's going to use one of its arms to lift me out of the water. It's going to use another arm to lift Twitch me out of the water and drop us back into the boat.
Okay.
You have to roll to do any of that?
Yeah, you're going to have to roll it. Let me see if it has any beginning attributes. Yes, it does. I see. It doesn't have any starting attributes.
Oh, word.
But we'll just say it has a neutral strength. So it'll have to do a strength roll, just raw strength. Try to get you both out of the water at
He's
once.
funny, right?
That's right.
Come on, baby.
Oh boy, it's a 4.
There's no octopus in here. There might be one in there. The closest is like a reef shark would be the closest like aquatic thing.
This one has octopus in the web.
Oh, the web one has octopus.
Yeah.
I'm so
Octopus
sorry.
owl. Ooh, maybe the octopus actually has its own stats.
Oh,
We're gonna
okay.
see.
If it's on there, it would. Yeah.
Strength of 4.
Plus 20.
Wait, so that means you're actually like you maybe at a 0.
Maybe. Hey, great time to use your
Oh!
freaking thing.
Yay!
I haven't told you whether it's successul yet. So here, toss it over here.
It sure sounds like a yes from your tone, so that might be a waste of an initiative or an
Yeah.
inspiration.
Oh, I can straight up
Come on,
5.
baby, come on, baby, come on,
Four.
come on.
Four.
It's just like
8.
You did it! It had to be the 5. So the octopus,
just let you do another
meeting its new friends, is not super comfortable with this whole. It hasn't lived in Japan, so it's not really comfortable grabbing people. So it kind of like awkwardly puts you both in the boat and kind of like seems very confused. But you guys like slump in the boat somehow with a lot of she's very happy to have her back. Very, very happy to have her back. Okay, so now it is your turn.
Again?
Yes, so
I'm trying to
So
go
the
ahead.
thing
yeah,
is still there.
yeah,
I was in
Yeah.
Did we do
the
anything?
blue thing is still there. You haven't done any damage to it yet. It's still at its It's done a little bit of damage. There's been a little bit of damage, but it still is rock and roll. Oh yeah. You have done damage to it. Damage has been done to it.
Tiny bits.
Damage has been done to it.
Okay,
it is, but the last 2 turns of like them scrambling for the boat have not.
While I was sitting on the boat, I found a book and I learned some spells.
Wow!
Another thing, like a little bit of pressure.
Well, we never see works well under pressure. That's good.
Yeah, it works well under pressure indeed. So just name one and we'll figure it out.
So the 2 that I didn't really think of 2 relevant ones. So I have absorb elements and I have detect magic. But it's pretty clear what kind of magic this is. Like I don't think we need to learn that much more about it.
Okay. So absorb
so I can absorb
elements.
but the types of elements
that
that are
mean?
here, I don't see water anywhere. There's acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder.
Yeah.
It's a weird damage.
Are there other ones?
Don't you have another one?
That's it. I don't know
Level
nothing
2.
to learn 2 spells.
Okay.
We should just throw the
So you can try to attack it, shoot another longbow stroke, you name it. All
I'm
these
feeling
are at your disposal.
Any of my weapons are not going to help.
It's better than nothing.
No, the weapons do damage. The weapons do damage. They don't do full damage, but they do damage.
Okay.
It's like whittling away the.
Because you attacked with a weapon last
Absorb
time.
elements means I have to like wait for it to attack me, and then,
And then you can-
it, and then it saves it up for my next attack.
Oh, interesting.
I think.
Man, I really wish you had water on that list.
I know.
As you attack
I
a water
think
devil.
that there was water.
It'll come in handy later, though, I'm sure. Anyways.
Okay, so I will shoot another arrow. Then.
Alright, shoot another arrow. So you take your longbow, big shot.
Is it
Clickety clack. D20, that's right. I can't see it.
15.
Yep, so 15 hits. So roll damage.
Damage is 8, which was not.
The other one, right to the right, the red one, yeah. Ooh, 7. Nice. So then,
Well, they done +3 too, right?
Plus 3,
Plus
so it's
3,
10.
so it's 10 again.
So you, after having it strike you with its kind of like water created club, you're ready to roll. You grab another
I'm pissed off
arrow.
and I'm hungover.
Pissed off and
hungover.
the most pissed I've ever been in your life. You blow the arrow. You take another shot. It goes right through kind of the water form that's like floating above the sea. The creature rocks back. The arrow stays suspended kind of in the water, and you kind of see more water pouring out of it, but it still is up and running, though it's looking a little ragged right now.
We are so weak, guys.
So now it is it's your turn. Wex.
So, since you're gonna need to get out of the water,
You're already out. They're out.
oh, you're out of the
We got
out
out
of the
of the
water. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna fire my crossbow
Oh, nice.
at it. So,
It's a very cleric weapon to have.
yeah,
Crossbow.
And Helsing,
19.
Uh-huh.
And
That hits.
D8 plus 1.
Ooh.
Piercing damage. 6.
Okay, another arrow sticks in the water fiend's, or I forget what the actual name is. Let me look. Water weird's shoulder. Rocks back.
Weird?
Yeah, water weird. 2 kind of arrows are suspended. More, it's like kind of struggling to hold its form, and even the clubs are kind of starting, like the water clubs it formed are starting to decay a little bit. It seems to be kind of pushing itself to rally its last strength and takes another swing at you as its attacker. Oops. Where is it? Does it 4? Oh, yeah, it's a 19. Yep, that's gonna hit.
And it goes down.
Does an 11.
Oh I have 1.
I've been rolling pretty hot tonight.
Oh dear.
So it takes
Oh, dear.
2 like gushes of water kind of erupt as it strikes Pickle Rick.
I screamed like a small little girl.
Pickle Rick rocks back at the boat, blood dripping down her face, and it is now Jason McKills, or sorry, Twitchley and I cannot pronounce it.
So this seems very low in health. You're like, okay. So from the description, it seems yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my hand, I'm going to grab some pastry that would be in the
Pastries. We do have
I want to extract the hearts from him.
Are you gonna rip the pastry heart out of him?
Yes, like
Okay.
a bunch of pastries.
All right. So you're gonna give me a unarmed strike roll.
Okay. So it's 7.
But you get a +5 on it. Unless you're over 3.
I already added 6 because it's a 1. It's a 1.
Oh.
So you reach in and try to grab the pastries, but you suddenly like tip forward because you lost. It was a 1. You didn't tell me it was a nat 1. Was it a nat 1?
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta tell him.
Yeah, okay. I thought you said it was a 7, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so you rock forward, you grab for the pastries. You actually feel like you're grabbing the sinews of whatever is creating its form, but there's too much strength left in it, and you rock forward and tumble into the water, an enormous splash, and now suddenly you can't seem to get above the surface.
Is the octopus still around? How long is it still around?
Huh?
As long as I want. How long does
Well,
the
until they
octopus
run out
stay
of
around?
The octopus is still around.
Until they die. Do you need to get back in the boat?
Yes, please.
Oh wait, should I roll initiative for the octopus now since they're like in the...
We'll just match it with yours.
Okay.
So now it is...
Great. Seeing how my personal defense system has just been pulled out of the water, I am very angry because he is very valuable to me.
Yeah, it's very
So I will, but he is within 5 feet, so I will pull out my rapier.
All right, clickety clack.
That is a 19.
That'll hit. All right.
19. Okay, so we're gonna do. So total of 9 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
I will see Zuga down under, and I will very exasperatedly just be like, well, I guess I have to do everything around here. I just take a couple of swishes with my rapier and watch the water just fall crashing back into the lake.
So, yep, you stand in your boat, eyes roll, whip out your sword, 1, 2, you're not even really paying attention, and then it just collapses, and suddenly you can get above the water level, and you guys are back in the
I
boat.
will chastise him as soon as his ears are above water. What am I paying you for?
I really don't know at this point.
How much do you pay me for?
Details, Zuga. Details are not what we're about right now.
So you all clamber back in the boat, and you're kind of a few, maybe 100 feet away from shore. You kind of just like are bobbing in the water. Do you guys want to roll the rest of the way to the island?
Somebody please help
Yes.
me. I'm dying.
Oh yeah, somebody's very, very sick right now.
Oh, yes.
Good thing we have at least one person who can heal.
So are we done with combat?
You're done with combat. You're out of combat.
Okay. Are we able to take a short rest and choose your hit dash, or should I just heal you?
Depends on if you want to take a short rest out in the open water, or if you want to take a short rest on land.
Make it to land before we
Okay,
take a
fine.
short
I'll
rest.
use one of my spell slots to heal you.
Someone can just
Okay.
carry me without taking
Remember
that.
this the next time you think about the special things in your next book.
Acknowledgements.
Okay, so it's a
We're dedicated to me. Or Wexley.
it's a 1d8.
He was the worst.
It's a 1d8 plus 3, but then I also have my Disciple of Life feature,
Okay.
which is 2 plus the spell's level, so that would be another 3.
Cool.
Wait, how long can you cast
So
spells?
plus 6.
You get a certain number of slots.
Between long rests, you have a certain amount of slots.
So that's a 7, so plus 6 is 13.
Okay, so you heal for 13 damage.
Nice.
So now you're
Um,
Nice.
I wish I could have 13 hit points.
Same.
My whole life is 13 hit points. Okay, so you guys are out in the water. We'll just say you row the rest of the way to the island. You get on shore. You walk on kind of this, all the, like everything, even though it's land, kind of has this kind of slick, like, it looks like it's just been recently rained there, even though there hasn't been rain. Everything kind of has that glisten of water. Especially the old architecture. So you see like a lot of these old pillars, columns, and they all kind of seem to be like marching their way up onto like a kind of a hilltop where you see something on kind of a dais. It's maybe about 100 feet away, and it's glowing kind of just a shimmering blue on just kind of this top of this like triangular dais. You're standing kind of around, just like on the shore, all gasping for breath, like among these old ruins, kind of trees overgrown everything.
Do you have prestidigitation?
No, I'm sorry.
Who the hell? I'm just kidding. It's like that illusion.
You can try yourself off.
Oh, no.
Shazam.
I just kept blowing you guys.
I look a little bit distraught, but I don't stop it.
I want to get lightheaded.
I have more.
Okay.
So can I do like a can I do like a perception check around the area to see if I see like footprints or anything, try to figure out sort of where Robert went when he came?
Yeah, so you look around the island, you see a few trees that have like had branches broken. You see some actions that something has been here, something has been going on. You can't tell whether it's Robert or not, but go ahead and roll perception to see if you can find any evidence of Robert specifically. Actually kind of curious. 16. Okay, so you look down the coast. You see another boat. It's been pulled on the shore a little way, so it's not touching the water. You see what looks like kind of the makings of like a little tent, but that's pretty much it. No signs of life except for just kind of this little boat that's been pulled up the shore and kind of like a lean-to.
Is there like a fire pit by any chance so I can investigate to see if it's been lit recently?
You're still maybe about 50 to 100 feet away from that little thing, so you have to just walk over there. All right, so you head on over there. You all kind of march over to this fire pit. You see kind of the boat's been beat up and torn up, like the bottom's been torn out as if something has gone in after the fact and like ruined it. The tent lean-to is still there. There's some cooking supplies. It looks like an old fire pit that's been out for, almost like seems like it hasn't been used in a couple of days. You see some cooking supplies, and much else.
Is there any booze? I start ransacking the tent to look.
Looking at cherry.
Roll investigation.
I'm going back to our boats and trying to get it on shore. So
Okay.
you want to be in the water.
Yeah, so you do that, your boat's secured safely, and then you come back. So then you...
I'm ransacking the tent.
so roll an investigation.
Do I find anything interesting besides booze as well?
You mean more booze?
That's, sorry, hold on. Investigation is an item 11.
And there's a section that says booze finding.
Rippling alcoholism.
Okay, so I wish I had a better Sharpie.
You want to
So you see among, like, so you find like a bottle of what looks like just like a small, like kind of like one of those little mini, just like stopper with like some liquid in it. You're not sure exactly what it is.
I take
It has kind of amber color. And then you see what looks like a bundle of his notes, which as you flip through them very briefly, it just reports on increased cult activity, a few interviews from the people in the town, very similar to the ones that you had.
Anywhere? Is it Robert?
No, yeah, it's Robert's notes. Yeah, they're it's like his his like kind of like title on like the header or whatever. And you find that he discovered something that looks like this symbol. That seems to be very significant.
Like an X with a line on the bottom?
Yeah, pretty much. X with a line on the bottom.
Notes.
Or actually,
X line.
yeah.
Or line X.
Line X.
Line it. Oh no. That's what it is.
I look over her shoulder while she's looking at the books. I look over her shoulder and I just kindly announce to everybody, I don't know how to read.
So,
Yeah.
but the real question is, when she throws back whatever she finds in the bottle, what happens?
I didn't throw it back yet. I opened it and I sniffed it. What did it smell like?
Oh, what is it? So you open it and you sniff it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has kind of a sharp odor. It reminds you of alcohol, but doesn't smell exactly like alcohol.
I'm desperate enough that I take a little sip.
Right.
Take a little sip. It's a small little bottle. You
Drink
just-
it.
A tiny little sip.
Okay.
Drink
So you
it,
take a
throw it
tiny little sip. You feel just like a tingling sensation on your tongue. You taste it. There definitely is alcohol in it, but it seems to be almost a solution for something else. So it's a cordial. So like you kind of feel yourself even rock, just kind of with a little bit of whatever's in there. But other than that, nothing. There's definitely alcohol in it.
Oh, am I stupid enough to drink whole thing?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
After
Are
having
you?
one little sip, I'm desperate enough, I chug it.
All right, so you chug it.
Oh!
So give me a Constitution saving throw.
April dies.
What's Constitution saving?
Just
Okay.
yeah, whatever your saving throw is.
Oh god, that's not very high. 17
Oh,
plus 1?
yeah, that'll work. So you take 1 point of damage just from the power of what you just drank. You definitely know that it's booze. You get a little bit toasted. But you also start to see what feels like these kind of blue ripples rolling up from the water. And they seem to be kind of coalescing around that dais in the center of the island. You can kind of start seeing what feels like the flow of water. So you see like very faint lines coming up the trees, going through the bushes. You kind of just see this like network of blue lines just everywhere.
Great, I don't need to use my magic checking spell then, because it's very clearly
You also see some certain areas around the dais that seem to have like higher just like concentration of this water.
Can I roll for like Arcana to see it?
Well, he can't see it, right?
He can't see it. You haven't. She hasn't told anybody. Only she can see it. Okay, so okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling
So
great.
wait, are there some supposed to have like
Yeah, let's do it. Yo, guys.
So it's
What's that?
Yeah.
Did you have a donut?
It's just like, you guys see this shit?
What's going on?
I didn't know it.
Can I just see if I notice anything based on my extensive studies on the...
Roll
I think you
Arcana.
are so vastly intelligent.
Roll Arcana.
Oh,
What's
it's
that
not.
on the modifier?
Plus 4.
Oh, okay.
But it's 8 total.
What you do? Okay, so you get an 8. So you can't. So the magic around what seems to be further down. You know that there's magic around, but the magic on the altar seems beyond your knowledge. But what you do see is some like scars and what seem like battle magic working their way up towards it.
Seems clear we have to get closer.
I think we have to smash the
Should we
altar.
stealth?
What?
Should we stealth?
What?
I mean, I can stealth. I don't know about you.
I'm not stealthing.
Stealthies. Am I stealthy?
I'm plus 2 stealth. I don't know.
How big is the island?
It's maybe about quarter mile, about as big as a track, like maybe a little bit like 2 like running tracks put together side by side.
So it's small.
Yeah.
We might be sensed anyways. Just a thought.
So yeah. So okay. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying, ask if we should stealth, but then I said, well, they might be able to sense us anyways, so might not be that helpful.
At least get closer to this thing
Yeah.
and see what's up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys start walking towards the center of the island. You are still noticing kind of these veins of water just kind of going through the ground, and you see kind of there's some of these concentrated kind of sections just in front of you. Everybody roll perception.
20. Not 20.
Okay, so
Ooh,
that's a
nat
20.
20.
Okay.
Why do we get every single good roll we've ever done?
On perception bonus.
Perception.
So you all notice what seems like some apparatus built in some of these trees. They seem to have mechanical gears, and there just seems to be some like built structures along some of the trees around the center of the island.
I'm trying to smash one. That's my goal.
So you try to smash one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get away from him. Like I
I'm taking a clear step
So-
back.
Yeah.
So roll agility. Yeah,
Acrobatics.
acrobatics. Yeah.
Okay, so it starts with a 7.
That was just awesome.
Yeah, you're
So-
bored. This one's
Nice.
passion for sure.
So a set of like as he swings it, it triggers what seems like a swing trap, where a set of like kind of clawed, sharpened roots whip around at a very high speed. He tries to dodge out of the way, but takes 5 points of
Guys, I think
damage.
there's traps here.
Right in his stomach.
Does he go?
He's
Is it like
like
a
Yeah, the trap seems to be disarmed and unwound.
Okay.
So yeah, no.
mechanics check or something?
So,
investigation.
in general, that's either investigation, but you can also have proficiency in.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an investigation check of the smashed one to kind of look at how it's put together, to get an idea of how we could more wisely disarm the other. Because there's multiple of them, right?
Yeah, so it looks like it's a pretty simple lever system where there's just a counterweight with a rope that acts as like the leverage that if it's triggered and there's like a small little catch. So what you see after the trap is triggered, that there's like a line between the trees. There's like kind of like a trip line, and that would pull a catch between two gears that would drop the counterweight and make the trap spring. What you notice is when he hit it, he just knocked the catch loose and then it sprung the trap.
Do I see any of the weird like blue magic shit along the ropes? Or
You see just as much water as there is in the ropes. So it's just like kind of this sparkling thing, but you don't really see like actually some sort of power behind it beyond mechanical.
So these are just they're like normal traps.
But this one seems to have been sprung. And the people who got 20 see a few more of them in other trees, but they seem to be almost forming a perimeter rather than going that much deeper.
Can we just avoid them? Or like, now that we sprung one of them, can we just all single file
Yeah,
through
let's
that
some perception
area?
check around and for our investigation. Not the three that are here.
Yeah, so let's everybody do an investigation check, and then you should be good going. Let's see.
Oh, fuck, you need
20?
7.
Okay, so
Not
yeah, so the path from what you can tell is clear ahead of these
4.
traps.
I'm rolling that one.
You're rolling that one, so you're like, yeah, there's shit in the trees. Yeah, I like
So
that.
that's what those are like.
Wow. Man, I love trees. So okay, so you guys single file jump through kind of where these mechanical traps are. You walk over where, and because like right along that line is where that kind of blue kind of bar was in terms of the magic. And as you walk over it, as the last person in the party kind of gets over, walls of water just start kind of rising from the ground and just kind of close off a circle around you and the kind of the blue altar.
I'm
in
an
front of
octopus boat throughout my They just it's
you.
like
He's just chilling in the water.
It disappears once you go 100 feet away.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he's died
okay.
horribly. Just kidding. No. But yeah, so you start seeing. You see that these walls of water are being fed by those kind of like beams that are coming in from the lake, and you see that they're needing kind of sustenance. So something is still like pushing them up, coming from the altar. So kind of two things are coming in subterraneously to like keep these supports up.
Is it still water? The walls, or is
So
it
yeah, the
like
walls are just
laser?
made out of like kind of the same solid water that the water weirds were made of, where it seems to be a little bit more. So if you like, try to touch it, it seems to be like a little bit more solid.
Wait, so, if you try to touch the water, you're saying?
Yeah.
The walls are made out of?
Yeah, it would be. It seems like a little bit more solid. Like it's not like just like like a geyser. It's like almost like these like bricks of water. Yeah.
I'm feeling great from this shady ass potion that I drank, so I'm gonna walk straight up to the
altar
and look at what's there.
Okay, so you walk straight up to the altar. You see kind of that same mark, like placed around like kind of each of the sides of this triangle, and then you see kind of just a blue stone glowing very, very brightly. But you see like ribbons of what seems like black kind of wrapped over it.
Grabbing things after drinking potions has served me well so far.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try and reach out and That shit.
Grab it. I have my great axe ready.
So for a moment, you touch the stone. You feel everything in the area, all the water in the area. You feel the lake. You see all like the monsters that are there. You see all the traps in the trees, all the different like mechanics that have been set up, and you know how these walls were built using kind of power and magical energy coming into the lake. But suddenly something blocks off that knowledge from you, and those little black strings around the rock form into a hand, and then the altar starts fading away as like the hand closes around the stone, and then a robed figure kind of yeah. And then it closes, brings it back towards a robed figure standing at like the edge of the camp. So like kind of the altar crumbles, and like what seems like a magic hand grasps the stone and brings it to the guy standing at the edge.
Hello, friends.
This is someone that everyone can see.
Yes, someone that everyone see. Robed figure standing there.
Hello, friends.
We can pause there because it is 10. I know we started a little bit late, but this probably won't take that. It'll probably take about 30 minutes, but it depends on how sleepy everyone is. How you guys doing?
I'm down for whatever.
Do half an hour.
All right, half an hour. All right. Yeah. More wine. I might need some more wine for one more encounter. So everybody, roll initiative.
We didn't even try to talk to this guy.
Or you can't.
I tried. I said hello.
Yeah.
Oh, you said hello to him? I thought someone attacked
Maybe.
him.
Oh, no. I didn't do that.
Well, Michaela's asked, should we roll initiative? Michaela's just preparing herself in. Before we attack him,
Yeah, I thought someone attacked him.
You sure?
Okay.
Can I roll
Yeah.
an arcane attack?
and kind
Yeah.
of see what his whole deal is in magic pressure.
So you roll. Yeah, go ahead. So he definitely is aware of you. He's starting to come forward pretty rapidly. So the amount of time for checking will be limited.
Oh, well.
So, we're just here in search of our friend, a gentleman named Robert. We believe he came this
He's not
way.
necessarily our friend if he did anything to harm you.
He says, yes, Robert died to the water gods.
Oh,
Well, your water gods, are they friendly?
Did he at least
He just
deserve it?
he looks at you and laughs, and he like makes a kind of a waving motion with his hand, and roll me an acrobatics check.
All of us?
Just her.
12.
I'll do a smaller. So you're gonna only take half damage. So what seems like water rises up out of the ground and forms like a spear and just bolts towards you. You dodge some of it, but you take 4 points of spear damage. He's like, the water gods are not friendly to non-believers.
I mean,
I can see a sleep.
Yeah.
That's quite presumptuous. I
Convince
say as
me.
I cough up water. Not presumptuous, what you said.
Water, love me some water. I had water just this morning, actually.
I'm
She
so
doesn't
thirsty
like
at the
water.
moment. She likes alcohol.
Me too. I'm
It's,
thirsty.
key part of alcohol is water. So.
Indeed.
And he listens to you and he says, another key part of appeasing the gods is sacrifice. And he rolls another one with his hands and he throws one at you. So go ahead and roll. Actually, you can just use your. I'll just roll another attack. Does an 18 hit.
oh, you ran away.
So you take 2 points of spear damage.
I'm not sure exactly
Piercing
that
damage.
thing.
So he just keeps walking towards you, and he's like, "Yes,
I'm not sure
you are looking for sacrifice." Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
you're launching a javelin, so you're actually attacking. So everybody roll, or everybody roll initiative.
I want to see you attack everyone.
You guys didn't want to fight. Okay.
14.
11.
7, 9.
19.
19. Okay.
Can we still continue the discussion with him while
You can.
fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
19. That'll be a bonus action. Will be banter. So you got a 19. You got a 14. 14. Okay.
11.
11.
7.
7.
9.
9.
Okay. So.
Alright, so I'm going to look at the terrain around me, and like there's the altar there, but is there anything else like sticking up out of the ground anywhere? Like trees, any like
Yeah,
towers
so
and things?
what looks like there is a almost like like what seemed like the ruins of like something of a gazebo. So like 4 pillars kind of sit in half built around the altar. There are some rocks kind of spaced out. Look, either some from just the earth, some from tumbled stuff. Everything's pretty much grown over with weeds and grass of some sort and a few trees.
And how far away is he?
He's maybe 50 feet away from
Okay, so I'm going to shoot him with my short bow, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to hide behind the rock.
That's
And, but like my legit hide, so I can like roll
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and roll your attack.
Does a 24 hit?
No. Of course it hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Nice. That's going to be 9 points of damage, and then whatever the biggest rock I can find is, I'm going to hide behind and stealth behind it. So my stealth for that is 23.
Wow, good rolls.
Okay.
When he becomes invisible.
So he becomes
Go.
and just vanishes away. Okay, so the arrow hits his shoulder. He rubs it off, and you see kind of a blue light around the wound, and the arrow just kind of crumbles where it had pierced and stuck in his shoulder. He frowned he rages out. He raises both of his hands, and 2 bars of blue light appear in each one. He throws, because he can no longer see you, he looks for the 2 biggest people in the area, which are the 2 barbarians.
I'm really pissed.
Okay, so he's gonna have. So does a 18 hit?
Yes.
And then Fox does a 14 hit.
No.
Okay. So. Oof.
I don't mind that.
All right. You will receive. Okay, so 6, 7, 3. All right, so you're gonna get 10 points of piercing damage as one of these liquid spears flies across the air, just rams into your shoulder.
You only have 10 left?
Yes.
Rams into your shoulder. You rock back. Immediately, the spear just dissolves and the wound just starts bleeding, as if there's just a hole punched in your shoulder. The spear blurs towards you, but with your barbarian strength, you lift up. Do you have a shield? No. You just dodge it. Not as cool.
Shove it off with my great axe.
Yeah, you swing it out of the air with your great axe. The water dissolves midair. Now it is on Mikhail.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, so I enter in rage.
Okay, you enter a rage.
And it's good against piercing damage, I guess. But it's too late. And how far is it? Piercing? I can charge. Is it the thing is in this?
What?
Charging. Running against him and trying to.
What's your movement? Because you're about 50 feet away.
50.
So yeah, because everyone kind of came up to the altar. That was about 50 feet away from where he appeared at the end of the. So the altar is kind of a 50 feet circumference of this like water wall that formed, and he appeared at the edge of it. So your sprint is 30 feet.
No, that's my walking.
So you can maybe move 20 feet and then do your dash for the other 30. Okay. So yeah, so you kind of walk 20 feet forward.
I want to run and charge.
Then you make your charge at him. So what do I need to roll to?
I don't know. Chase?
Yeah, sorry.
Can we charge in this version?
In this version, you don't. I don't think that you have a specific
have
charge.
movement, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And maybe
I'm just going to
barbarian
throw
thing,
it
but
then. First.
Okay. What's your range on the javelin throw?
Okay, I'm going to walk to it.
You go 20 feet up. Okay, so you get 20 feet up. You throw a javelin.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll attack. And he's approaching anyways.
Does 11 hits?
It does not.
Okay.
Okay, so he approaches further. He's kind of coming closer. Now it's on Fox, I think. 11.
I'd like to enter a rage, please.
You go into a rage.
I'm rage, my bonus action. I'm pretty far away, right?
You're about 50 feet now. But he's coming closer, so maybe it's about 40 feet, so he's kind of steadily walking towards the group.
I can go 30 feet, so can I attack him? And
30 feet, unless you have something that's ranged over 10 feet.
a javelin that's
Yeah, you can use the javelin. So yeah, if you close some of the distance like Mikhail did.
yeah, I would close distance.
Alright, so you walk up maybe 20 feet and then throw from 20.
Sure.
Alright, roll attack.
Nat 20.
Okay, so roll me that crit damage. Double whatever the dice is, and then just add the modifier.
Plus I get my reach bonus.
Yeah.
So 7 plus 5, 12 points of damage.
Cool. Okay, so you rock back with your javelin, throw an enormous throw right in his stomach. You see him start to glow with just like this blue light as he pulls it out.
Oh my god.
And you don't see his wound heal, but you see water just start to fill in the gaps. And it starts to just at least like kind of hold like as like almost a liquid bandage. But and that water immediately colors red with his own blood. But he's like holding himself steady, still walking steadily towards the altar, holding this blue stone in his hand. Okay, it is on. I think number 9 there on initiative.
I'm gonna guess Ring of Frost again. It seems to be pretty efficient. Can I aim it at his like water wound bandage thing?
Yeah.
And freeze that.
Then Emmett has it at his hand that keep the stone.
Oh, interesting.
And you did how much? 13? 12.
I'm gonna do it at his stomach. I'd rather try and kill him than try and make his attacks less. Okay, what do I roll? Do I first have to roll to see if I hit you?
Yeah,
Yes. Roll your attack dice, or 20.
Attack bonus.
Oh, no, that's not 20.
There you go.
Oh, very good. It's a 1. So I'm gonna
So
not.
critical fail. So you reach out with your hand for your spell, channeling the mystical energies of frost. Blue light wraps around your arm as you aim at the priest. But right before you fire, your hand clenches up, and the frost ricochets back up your arm. You take
Oh no! God! Damn it!
3 points of frozen damage.
Okay, we haven't rested since the last damage I took, which was at some point.
How much health do you have left?
You did heal between the I don't think you take any damage in this.
Just 1, right?
Oh, that's right.
Took one
Yeah,
or something,
that's right.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you're being a jerk to someone in town. Or you're stealing beer. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I think he
No, he
got
gets
in
it
trouble
then.
for it.
No,
Yeah.
something it was when we were in the boat. It was the lightning that.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna stick to it.
Okay, 6 to 10. Looking a little ragged these days.
Oh gosh, not very good.
Yeah, you guys, this is gonna be a spicy one, y'all. Okay, so you.
Spicy one.
Yeah, so you do a little bit of damage. To herself.
You don't have to specify that part.
I think it's
We were both 7.
yeah, you two now. Okay, go for it.
Is it just whoever?
Yeah.
Normally, officially it goes with whoever has the higher dexterity modifier, but generally,
You can relaunch
generally you can
20,
choose. And,
the D and the one.
Hers is
Wait, that's a +1.
I think hers is like plus 3 or 2.
yeah, hers would be ours.
Yeah.
close to it again.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
I'm still feeling the effects of the potion. I have this gut feeling that it probably makes me a little bit safer towards whatever he is. So I like to get up a little bit closer to him. But I'm curious. So I say, "Who are you? What do you want?" What does he say?
So you're just walking to.
He just smiles and says, "What all of us want: power."
She wants that's your freckle.
It's Jeffrey's soul.
Yeah.
So I run towards him and try to take the stone away from him.
Okay, so you run towards him, and you're still a little ways away. So
Well,
wait,
he's
because he's been walking up, and you were a little bit closer, so you actually can reach him. Because I think you were at the edge of the circle with him, because you kind of walked ahead. So yeah, I wish I need to do like a map thing at some point. But yeah, so you run a little bit closer to him, try to grab the rock. Go ahead and run a. Actually, we're gonna do an Arcana roll.
Interesting. Okay. 16?
Okay. So you grab the stone. You feel that you again feel kind of the island, the power, like the lake, the whole area, and you sense that he has some very specific affinity with his stone. He's been training with it for a while, so you're unable to. You're able to see all the items. You're unable to influence anything. You do notice that there is something forming right on either side of the altar. So there's kind of two, what seems like water wells bubbling up.
Oh, it's pretty.
We're screwed.
So the stone like rocks back. Your hand kind of shoots backwards. You weren't able to wrest power from him, but yeah.
While I'm up here, no, I can't.
Yeah, I would say that was your action. And you guys are all about 30 feet from the altar. So there's a cluster of people at the altar, cluster of people around the guy around 30 feet away. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Bless on you, and you.
Oh.
Yeah, I can bless up to 3 creatures of your choice.
That's
in
up.
range. So now when you make a attack roll or a saving throw in the next minute, you can add a d4.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess that counts as inspiration, kind of?
Yeah, and remember, and remember to use these. Will be very helpful.
Yeah.
This guy is going to be pretty tough.
So is it just once? Or
So the next minute, so basically 10 rounds. So effectively this whole combat.
So we get for the entire time or just once?
Once.
Okay.
Wait. Actually. Oh yeah, before the spell ends. So yeah, you can keep going.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's pretty
Cool.
Yeah.
broken.
It's concentration, so think if I get hit.
Then you
I'm
have
gonna
to
stand right in front of you.
Alright.
Let me sit on the rock and think about it.
Alright.
So I'm trying.
Pleasure in number.
Alright.
You can replace them if you want.
Okay. So sorry, what you blessed him up.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it is on
Bless up.
19. Bless up.
Alright. So
Bless, guys.
I'm
Bless.
going to.
Mm-hmm.
So now that Pickle Rick is within 5 feet, I'm going to take a short bow shot.
Boop. Go back to
I'm just going to hop up or behind my rock.
the lean.
I got the first person shooter lead.
Yeah. The PUBG lean.
Pickle Rick is.
Within my feet.
Yeah.
Does a 15 hit?
It connects.
Great. Okay, so we're going to do 5 and then plus 3. So that's going to be 8 damage. And then I'm going to use my movement to walk away from the altar, and then use my cunning action to dash another 25 feet away. So now I'm, like, if the altar's here and they're here, I'm kind of in the bushes and the trees over this way. So I'm just trying to get away from where the 2 things are popping up, but
Okay.
still stay in range of the other guy.
Okay, so you took a shot, right?
Yep. I took a shot, and then I
And
used 25 feet.
yeah.
I have my normal movement, which
Yeah.
is 25 feet. And then
Then
I
you got
use
away.
my cunning action, my rogue thing, to move another 25.
Yeah, and how much damage did your shot do?
I
missed
did
that part.
8 damage. total.
8 damage, gotcha. Okay. So your shot goes through, hits him again. It seems to kind of be slowing down as it's getting closer, but it still, cuts him, pulls it out. Another kind of wound seals up with water. So now he smiles and he's like, "I'm so glad you joined the party." And then he does another one of those kind of moves with his hand. 2 figures kind of rise up out of the ground and coalesce. They seem to be these small kind of orbs that are like on either side of the water altar. And they start just kind of rotating around the altar at kind of like a static pace. And then they're going to roll initiative. Oops. This is for you guys. Okay. Orbs.
Down, orbs down.
Okay. Okay, so the first orb is going to attack. So who's still by the altar? I think nobody. Everyone's took off. So they're gonna.
Well, are you still by the altar? Because you ran up and
Yeah.
charged.
No, I didn't.
He ran up and threw a javelin. So there's people that are kind of just around the guy now, and you two have kind of gotten closer to the guy, and then you're still back somewhere.
I have no idea. I'm somewhere probably.
Yeah, we need to get a map. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna do that next time. There's so much stuff to pack. Okay, so we'll just say all of you guys kind of coalesce around the guy. 2 orbs zip back towards. 2 orbs zip back towards the rest of the party. 1 goes for the cleric who's been healing everybody. He's seen you blessing up. Does an 18 hit?
It does.
Okay. No.
If he fails his concentration check.
Oh, that's okay.
Damn. That'll be 7 points of damage.
Okay.
And then does a and the other one is going to zip towards Feather Widget. Does a 17 hit?
Yeah.
Jeez, man. I'm sorry, I'm not so good. That'll be 6 points of damage. But you're in a rage, so it should be reduced by half.
No.
At the end, you
No?
have to
Okay.
apply.
Okay.
Later.
Okay. So now it's on Mikkel.
Yes.
So there's 2 orbs in the guy. They're all kind of now they're trying to kind of circle where you all are at, right around the guy.
Is there the water theory again?
Yeah, he can just run his check and tell me if he succeeded or failed.
How does that work? I'm looking at it right now. Taking damage. Whenever you take damage while you're concentrating on the spell, you must make a Constitution saving throw to maintain your concentration. The DC equals 10 or half the damage you take, whichever number is higher. So you have to beat 10 because you took 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a con, so he probably has.
I'm actually Oh, yeah, 19. Okay.
So that maintains.
So,
Alright.
you were saying there's some water.
So there's these like water orbs that are going around. Yeah. So then they zip in. They kind of collide with our dear cleric, pulling away some, just like sharpening themselves and like hitting him. The other one sharpens himself and hits Feather Widget, and then returns back to their orb shape and starts swirling around again.
Okay. I'm going to use my hand tool and axe and go on contact.
To which one? The guy or the
guy,
orbs?
yes.
Okay, so you can attack the
So
guy.
I'm going first my first attack, which is 1 plus 6. It means 7 plus 6.
7 plus 6. Ooh, 13. 7 plus 6 is 13.
Oh yeah, maybe. Does it hit?
Oh, is that your wait?
That was the roll too. That was the attack roll.
Yeah.
Oh no, that does not hit. Sorry, I thought that was damage. I was like, holy shit.
Oh.
But that's just one thing.
So that does not
Yes.
hit. It does not hit.
So I'm doing my second one.
So you're rolling a d20? Okay, and then you're doing. Oh, I see. what
I
you're
did
doing.
d4 because.
Okay, that's right. They have the
So
plus.
it's 16 plus. 3
Yeah, that'll hit.
Plus 6. Yeah, that's it. And I launch 1d6. Can I have 1d6?
There you go.
Nice.
Because you're in a rage, so you
5.
get +2.
Okay.
You get +2
Oh.
in rage.
Oh yes.
You
So.
can also
so
use your.
seven.
You should also use your blessing.
He did.
Oh, I can use my blessing to.
The
Yeah,
+4.
for the
only
diff-
for the attack, but
Oh.
because you're in a rage, we get +2 to damage. Yeah.
So
Okay, so 7. All right, so you take a huge swing with your broadaxe. He raises up one of his hands, and kind of a blue like shield forms through it. But your axe still pierces it, and you see kind of like the shield start kind of like just kind of this red liquid starting to like fill in with the water in his shield. So it's 7 points of damage. All right. And, you know, he's kind of looking a little ragged, and he's like, I always like a challenge.
Picking up the read.
Strangely attracted.
Fox. That's
Oh,
I have
Speaking of,
letters for this. That's just
I'll look at you.
I look deeply.
So here.
I feel very uncomfortable.
Oh, I need that vape though. I think I need that vape. Oh my god. It's empty.
Really?
Alright. Well,
Okay, just like.
someone's buying me some meat. Well, I was gonna smoke it, but it's just like there's nothing to smoke, so
Oh, no.
it's all good. I'll put it away.
I will swing my great axe.
Okay, swinging your great axe. Nice.
Why do I do this?
I hate to do this, sir. Alright, this is when we begin the erotic D&D campaign. It's totally different. I'm sure there has to, in the history of mankind, there has to be some of that shit. What's that? 16 will hit.
Okay.
And you're swinging your great axe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. 16 points of damage.
Whoa.
Phew, Jesus.
What?
I'm in a rage, guys.
Not bad.
11 plus 3, and then plus my +2 for being rage.
Okay.
Still up?
Yeah, he's still up.
Oh.
He's a tough son of a bitch.
What's his vibe? Like.
Hey guys, this isn't a dating service, y'all.
The guy with the fishing told us not to like say anything to, right? So we should probably say everything. Like, blame the fisher guy.
Blame the fisherman.
Oh, he called him a priest?
Yeah, and this apparently this is the priest. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we should tell them first. Yes.
You should rat on the fisherman. Wait,
It's not us. It's
those
the
assholes.
He was the boat.
We want to go fishing. I just like crawling around. Okay, so then he holds up another one of his shields. You take a huge great axe swing. It comes in and like cuts his arm.
Off.
It gashes him. But he's able to kind of like hold it back with his other hand. He kind of does a reply action where he spins up another spear, sends it at you. Go ahead and roll. Let me see. Does a 15 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my d6.
Nice.
8 damage. So he rolls up another spear, throws it back at you, and it apparently hits, sadly. Okay. So he's kind of leaning forward, breathing raggedly, like laughing, like kind of bring it on, you sons of bitches, giving you just kind of like a daring kind of let's go look. It is on our wizard over there.
I'm paying attention.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
If you're on call or something, I totally understand. Life catches up.
Fuck me. When do these spells cast? I guess I can cast magic missile. I haven't done that before.
Oh, magic missile can't miss.
Yeah, magic missile always hits.
Great.
Alright.
So I don't have to roll 90-20, I can just roll the damage?
Yes.
It says when you cast a spell using a spell slot of second level or higher, the spell creates one more dark creep slot level above first. Since I'm level 2, does that mean I get...
different
it's
thing.
the spell slot level that you're using, and you only have level 1 spell slots right now.
Okay, so I get 3 darts, and I roll 1d4 for each one.
Cool. Alright.
Roll damage, here we go.
Yep.
Let's go.
2. 1. 2.
5 damage! Yay!
Guaranteed to always do at least 3. So.
Yeah. So you lift your hands over your head, 3 balls of light form and rocket towards the guy. He kind of, lifts up his shield. 2 of them catch on the shield, rocking him back, and another one hits him in the side, and he kind of crumples forward, still just like watching all of you. Adam and April. Yeah. Correct.
Speaking of, there's a new episode of that right now.
Really?
Yes.
We should.
Sunday at 11.
There is.
I mean.
I need to go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where am I? I was pretty
So
close to
you're
him,
standing
right?
right by the guy,
Just,
yeah.
like, trying to-
So you're maybe around 5-10 feet away from him, like on kind of the north side of the altar.
Can I try to hit him? Is it too close to use my bow?
You can try your bow. Sure, we'll let it slide.
Okay. Is it better to do that, or to do an unarmed strike, or to use my sword to do less damage?
So, generally, if you try to use a ranged weapon and you're in melee range, you have to do the attack at disadvantage. You have to roll twice and take the lower. But if Jeff's going to let you be 10 feet away, then you can use your ranged weapon as a
Okay. In that case, if we're letting it slide, then I'll do the ranged weapon.
Cool.
I'll shoot the arrow.
Cool. Go ahead and roll your attack.
18. What's the modifier for that again?
probably.
Well, your 18 should hit. So yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
And my damage, I totally forgot, was 8. 6.
Cool.
Plus
So-
3, right?
Yes, you're right. 9.
Okay. Arrow catches him, kind of rocks back. You can tell that he didn't actually come up to try to like resist with his shield this time. He just kind of took the arrow hit and like rips it out, fills it with water, and like keeps kind of doing that like in quick succession with all of his moves. Who is next? It's you. Yeah. One thing that's actually I think.
I'm only 10 points.
So as
I got
yeah.
a 6.
So as you guys, as his reply action or whatever it's called, he's gonna do a quick heal.
He's gonna heal? That's cheating!
It doesn't do very much.
Yes, that's cheating.
Yeah, we're allowed to cheat. We're the players.
Okay, it didn't do very much, but yeah, that's his little bonus one-time use.
Wait, how much did he heal?
He healed 8.
We don't know out of how much though, right?
We don't know much of
No.
I can tell you
We
at
don't
the
know
end.
how close he was to death.
Well, I guess if you guys have been keeping a total like I have, you would.
We've done a non-zero amount of damage. And he has a non-zero amount left.
Okay, so even though you have more health than me, I'm going to heal you because you have bigger potential. Stick around while they're taking
This is
What a
one
noble
But
that-
if you die, then we can't heal anyone.
Well, I'm just my last spell slot anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so D8 is going to be plus 6.
So we can just let him die.
Yeah, now he's outlived his useless.
Hey, I still have my. If everyone's super low, I can heal up to half. 6, 12 points.
Yeah.
And I'm next to you now.
Scandalous.
like it.
Scandalous.
It's all hot and bothered after seeing the evil guy.
How much better?
Alright.
Okay.
So who's after Adam? Is it back up at the top?
Yep, you.
Alright, great. So now that I'm over, like, off in the bushes, away from everybody else, I'm definitely gonna, like, pop my little gnome head up over the weeds and take a little shot at it. I still have friends in the area. So. Does a 16 hit?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yay!
So.
We're all like, where did
So,
Fishy go?
13 damage.
Oh, dang.
Yay!
No, he's not dead yet. He's real
Oh
close.
my god!
And then I will duck back down into the weeds using my hide action with a stealth of 14.
Becomes invisible again.
Okay, so you hide again. Good lord. Oh my god. This
He can
is...
make a perception check to try to find me if he wants to attack me, but he has to, like, his perception has to beat my stealth.
So he has, like, so now he's not even pulling the arrows out. He's kind of just, like, reeling with, like,
Still
these
smiling.
things. Oh, yeah. Still smiling. He looks at kind of the closest people, which I think are you and you.
Oh, yeah.
And he lifts his hands, and you see two spears form, and then the two balls kind of join beside them, and then he goes, like, one on each of you guys. He's like, if I must fall, may as well fall with me. And he throws 4 attacks here, and that'll be using the bolt attack one. So I'll do yours first. Is it 18 and a 14 hit?
An 18 does, a 14 does.
Okay, so the 18th G4. You take 4 damage. Ooh, 20. Sorry, April. So 20 and a 14. Well, 20 hits, crit. Well, does a 14 hit? 14 does not. Okay, so you only take the D6 ones.
Oh, okay. Wait, so,
Ooh.
oh, okay.
So he crit you, yeah.
Is someone about to die?
I think, did I die?
Nah, let's see. Let me roll damage
Oh my
here.
God,
How many
you
points do you
killing
have,
me.
13?
I have 13 hit points right now. Wait, so
Alright.
did you roll damage yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll
Yeah.
a couple of D4s here. 1. 1. Hold on, it's a crit. 4.
What? It keeps going?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm alive. 6 total.
1.
Oh,
7.
7. Phew. Oh.
That could have been 16.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh shit. So a bar of
Oh,
light.
didn't help me at all? Like the Oh my
A
god.
bar, a blue spear slams into your shoulder. The spear goes into your gut. They both immediately vaporize, but the spear kind of rematerializes and loops around. Now it is your turn, sir.
Okay, so I'm doing my X's again.
Okay.
So.
18 hits?
Yeah. Okay. So damage is
How much was it? How much did
3
took
plus 4. So that means 7.
So how do you want to do this?
Oh! Yeah.
Yeah, sounds split him in half.
Just cut him in half. So he kind of stiffens up as Mikhail raises his axe, and he's like, well, it's been fun. And then the crystal falls from his hand and its light goes out.
Oh, man.
We all survived.
You all survive. The walls of water that are kind of enclosing in this space drop. Kind of a quiet goes over the ocean, and you see kind of like the pool almost, and you especially kind of see some of these balls of magic kind of start to dissipate in the water, to kind of returning to its normal form. So,
Can I grab the crystal?
Yeah, can I do an arcana check?
so you grab the crystal.
I feel like we should give the wizard the crystal. Honestly.
Okay, so you want to do an arcana check
Yeah,
on the crystal?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll that. And who's taking the crystal?
19.
19. Okay, so you see that it is a water affinity stone. So it's with time, you'll be able to get bonuses with water if you train with the crystal. So it by him like training and like building up his skills with it, he was able to kind of do all this like cool magic stuff. But if you start taking water spells and using this, it will buff up your spells.
Can a person who can do spells take this crystal, maybe, instead of the
God.
barbarian or person?
I was gonna say, I can't go.
Aren't you a wizard?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
we're saying we should use
Yeah,
it.
because
So
we're
that's not
You can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you take it.
No.
All right. So everybody roll.
Initiative.
Well, no.
Just kidding.
No, too late for that. Okay, so everybody roll investigation.
17.
How about a
8.
natural fail?
Natural fail, nice. 8, 17.
Looks like brown to me.
19.
16.
So 19.
Yeah.
So nobody else notices, and you don't have to tell them this.
Okay.
You notice, like the altar seems to be hollow on the inside, because like some of the like during the battle, something chipped off the side. You see kind of like a hole in the altar, but nobody else sees.
So the question is, if you're not taking us, are you planning to go back along to see that altar?
I mean, you got this magic stone. You can probably wreck some shit over here.
I'll sneak over there.
So you'll sneak over there. So roll sneak.
So.
Yeah, stealth. Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, that's a D10.
Oh yeah, thank gosh. Okay. 19!
So we'll do that disadvantage because you misrolled your first dice. roll another one and we'll see whatever. Roll another D10 or G12. I mean, or D20. I mean, sorry. All the Ds.
Nah. 20.
Okay. So she's pretty sneaky.
We lost one of our members.
Yeah. So
That's good.
suddenly you guys don't see her there, and you sneak over the altar, and as you kind of push open the rock a little bit, you see what looks like gold. You go in, you reach in, and you find 4 rings, and these are appraised at about 50 gold each. And then you find, you should write this down because I will forget.
200 gold.
I'll write it down. 4x rings, and then you find. Oh yeah, you're not done yet. You find one kind of larger gold plate that's worth about 100. So like it's like just sort of it looks like a kind of like a portrait that's been etched. That's worth about 100 gold. And you find a small silver ball that looks like it has like these kind of blue gems put around it. You sense that it has some sort of magical qualities, but you don't know what they are.
Arcana check, please. 20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay, so you look at it, you find that it is a tool to use the water channel, so something that will interact with that crystal or the gem that you found, but it is still beyond your skill to understand, so you will need to seek external consultation on how to use this thing.
Okay.
But you know that it does interact with that water crystal now.
So I'm gonna pocket the $100 or 100 gold thing, and then I'm gonna walk over and be like,
So, I have a question about
what?
this. So she's stealthed over, right?
Uh-huh.
So, we get a chance to perceive her stealth, right?
I mean, you guys can try to beat a 19.
It was 20. It was a 20.
But we were at disadvantage.
Oh, you're
So
right,
you
sorry,
know,
sorry, sorry.
Yeah, so it's a lower
I'm trying to
than 2.
beat that because I'm greedy as hell.
Yes, that's a good
So we all do it?
Yes.
No,
Yeah, you can if you want. If you want to challenge what just happened.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, you have to add your
Oh.
perception on it.
Oh wait, it's perception, right? Oh.
Yes.
19.
How many?
21.
So you two see her like at the altar. She's like,
I immediately pull her out. Hey, what are you doing? And I give you guys 52 of the $50 ones. We all get 100, the 3 of us.
Okay.
Did I
to see her pocket the other shit also, or just
No,
everything.
I pocket the 100 gold. I give you 100 gold. I give you 100 gold. I keep the magic thing because like.
No, I know, but do I know that she found a magic thing that has it in her pocket?
You let's just roll on that one. That's a perception versus just deception. So that's a separate one.
I'm okay with my 100.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
One sec, let me see.
So you notice that she also seems to have something else she's holding back.
Okay.
Do you talk about it now? You can also in a later meeting negotiate with her.
I say nothing for now,
Uses
but
like-
I remember to like
Okay.
ask her about it.
So then you three get 100 gold. You get 2 magical items. You all begin the long journey back towards town. You travel a day and a night. You get home.
Did we ever find
have-
Robert?
He did.
Roberts.
Oh, he did.
Wait, is
Yeah.
this something I can find in here?
Yeah. You didn't actually find his body, which was on the other side. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so you, yeah, I mean, you guys got whatever loot would have been on his body anyways. But then you guys get back to Red Lark. Get up then, get a long rest. Everybody is level 3.
Yay!
Okay.
So go ahead and we'll help with the leveling stuff. Because we're getting pretty close to the actual main quest, so I kind of need to you guys up.
So this is all like not.
So
Well, these are like lead-ins, so these are like tools and stuff that will help you. What's that?
most of the campaigns have a couple of like early level things before you get to the main story as a way to like teach people how to play the game.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Much obliged. Hang out. Have a good one.
Oh.
We're going to bed.
See you tomorrow.
Later, Mikkel.
See you tomorrow.